You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning 2024. How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're all doing and living well. And oh no, I forgot to add Rumble. Okay. I'm adding it right now. Sorry, Rumble, you missed the intro, but you're here anyways. So here we go. Thanks again for joining us for Winning 2024. Thank you to all those Winner Circle members that are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You keep the channels going. I appreciate your support. To each and every one of you, thank you. And a special thank you to Shelly and Wolfram, who also support us over on Rumble and X. And we are all here together. You are part of the solution. Let's go. Thank you guys for waiting for the delay here tonight. As I was trying to get my everything in order right before my last little check here before I start, everything was just dragging. I was just getting frustrated. I was like, there's no way this is going to go smoothly if I don't reboot. So that's what I did. And here we are. We're all together. Thank goodness. So many of you guys out there waiting. I appreciate you, each and every one of you sticking around. And let's start with thanking Wolfram. Wolfram, thank you for dropping these links. Remember when you guys are here to listen to the Wolf and also to subscribe to Shelly. Make sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell over there for her so you can catch all of her great streams. And Wolfram wipes his paws and he lopes in and he howls, and the Alpha Mod is here. Also, welcome out there to Heidi. How you doing? Good to see you. Dana, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Jacob Pete, what is up? Jacob Pete coming on in here. What is up? Good to see you, my friend. Happy that you've joined us this evening. And Memento Mori. There's Memento Mori over there. And Shelly wants the howling clip. I'm still working on getting that exactly right. I think it's pretty close. Wolfram seems to like it. Oh man, we're off and rolling. Let me see. I'm still making sure I got all my tabs open, but we got the top story coming up here. Just a second. What's up, Wild Adventurer? How you doing? Good to see you. And make sure I got my volume on. There we go. Let me get this straight here. So, as you can tell from the thumbnail this evening, top news after a lot of talk last night about hello Ronnie, how you doing? Matt Gaetz and all that he's going through to make sure he's AG. He decided to bow out, and we'll talk about that as we go. But on the tail end of that, we also have a new nominee coming through, so we'll cover that as well. We're also going to talk about some border issues. We got some conclusions in Pennsylvania to talk about. And we're going to check in with a little bit of Make America Healthy Again update, some of that stuff that's going on. I have to go back and find the article I was gonna pull up though. Let's see, I got that. Okay, that's straight. But yeah, let's kick this off and do a lot of talking about what's going on with the AG position. And we'll do dual analysis with Timmy here. And I think out of all the takes I've seen, there's a lot of different takes out there. Just that was the one I was going to work with. But anyways, did I cover everything? I think we're all straight on all fronts, right? We good over here? Did Rumble take okay? Yes. Okay, good. We're good over on Rumble. Just making sure. No news yet. No news yet on X. I'm still waiting to hear back from those clowns. So we'll see with my second attempt here. Hopefully I don't get one-line answers this time. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm still going to keep hammering it until I get it back or get an answer as to what the hell went on. But anyways, I did save an article today that said something about Netflix being sued over the fight. The Tyson Jake Paul fight. I hadn't had a chance to look at it, but I might save that for Saturday night. Anyways, let's get on to our headline this evening, our top story, if you will. Trump AG pick Matt Gaetz says he's withdrawing. Let's check it out.
And so many more. Matt Gaetz has announced that he will be withdrawing as Donald Trump's nomination for Attorney General. Well, it certainly sent many of these individuals scurrying and terrified, those with deep, dark pasts. Matt Gaetz says that he was becoming an unfair distraction to the...
I hate that excuse. I'm going to stop you right there, Tim. Just hold that thought and don't move. All right. I don't like that excuse. An unfair distraction. Oh, okay. So I'm the establishment. All I have to do to gum up the works is cause a distraction, an unfair distraction. Really? I don't get it. I don't think that that's the real reason. It's an unfair distraction, so I'm not gonna, be the bulldog I'm known to be. I'm not gonna see it out. I'm not gonna go through with it. I'm just gonna withdraw because it's too big a distraction. I don't get that at all. It doesn't sit right with me.
Trump Vance mission. Now, I got to say, I think this signals something else in the works. Matt Gaetz I believe he was flying around with Donald Trump. So I don't believe it just makes sense that Matt Gaetz resigns from Congress, then says, I'm going to be the AG, and then all of a sudden says, I'm not going to be the AG. They could have foreseen what was going to come with all of this. So I have questions. I do. Maybe something happened where, could be as simple as Matt Gaetz and Donald Trump said, we're going to make this move. Unforeseen variable approaches, and they say we're going to have to back down on this one. Some are speculating that Matt Gaetz could reclaim his seat. He still is representative-elect, so he was elected. He can still just go on January 3rd and be a representative again, which would be fun and funny. Or maybe he'll be senator. Marco Rubio was nominated by Donald Trump as well and would be vacating that Senate seat. So Matt Gaetz.
We had too many. There's too many people that can take that seat. Like I know Laura Trump was talking about taking that seat, but other plans in the works. Is there another plan in the works? What would that plan be? What would it be? I don't see it. I don't. Maybe I'm just disappointed because I don't like backing down because something is deemed an unfair distraction. I don't get it. Let's see. Trump needs to pick someone at least as aggressive. Yeah, we're going to come up. He's already picked somebody. We're going to talk about them right after this. But yeah, I don't know. He says unfair distraction, right? I mean, really? See, Pete says, I'm sure there is a plan with Gaetz stepping back, but from a PR perspective, this will not play out well. The media is already insulting it as an admission of guilt. Yeah, insinuating. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You can't give them an inch in any way. That's Jacob. Now that's what I'm saying. It's like, you can't take a knee to these people at all. I mean, you can't ever let them know that anything they do is going to get to you. And yet, unfair distraction, this better come out looking good. That's all I got to say. It better come out looking good. It right now, it looks like a sign of weakness.
It could be appointed to the Senate. Let's read the story and give you the full details. CNBC reports Trump AG pick Matt Gaetz says he's withdrawing. Matt Gaetz said Thursday he's withdrawing his name from consideration as President-elect Trump's pick for Attorney General. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many.
Hey, Scott.
While the momentum is strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General.
Stupid.
Deeply unfortunate. Deeply unfortunate. Well, here's the full statement. I'll read it just so that we can have it in full. He said, I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. It is clear that my confirmation was becoming a distraction. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from the consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to lead the Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America. There are mixed reactions to this, of course, with our good friend Brian Cranston, he's a liberal, saying, can you at least comment on the allegations? Did you sleep with children? You know, Brian, this stuff doesn't work anymore. The woman in question made the allegations is 17, okay? More importantly, the DOJ under Joe Biden investigated this and found no evidence and brought no charges. I could ask you literally the same question. There's no evidence you did anything wrong. That's why you are despicable. And that's why Democrats lose. These weird manipulations don't work. We don't care about your lies anymore. Now, Nick Sorter says, retake your seat in Congress. We need you, Matt. You're still technically a representative elect. Now, here's what's interesting. Matt Gaetz resigned like last week. We were all excited. Like, wow. He resigned from Congress. He was apparently working. I believe he was flying around with Trump on Trump Force One. And we thought it was going to happen. Now, the media's the general narrative was that he was potentially a sacrificial candidate, that by nominating Matt Gaetz, it would send shivers down the spine of so many of these deep state cronies. And then, of course, Matt Gaetz would either not get confirmed or would bow out, and it looks like that's the case. Some have responded saying, we have Gunther Eagleman saying, you're an American hero, brother. I stand with you and whatever's next. Joey Manarino says, DeSantis needs to nominate you to be senator. George says, what the swamp has done to you is truly sickening. 3-year Letterman says, this is absolutely pathetic, Senator, and shows you've never read the Constitution. The executive branch supersedes all others and means that Trump can veto the Senate if they don't confirm you. They can only overturn it with 3/4 vote. That is incorrect. And Matt Gaetz is not a senator. He's a member of Congress. He's a representative.
Hello, wake
Ginger
up.
Gaetz, Matt's wife, says, nobody loves America more than you. Valentina Gomez chimes in, says, come hell or high water, I have your back, Matt. God bless you and Ginger. Kang In Lee says, why would you withdraw? Are the allegations true? I'll tell you why I think you withdrew. I think this signals that Matt Gaetz and Trump have a different plan. I do not believe that Matt was betrayed. I do not believe that they did not predict these attacks were coming. They knew the ethics committee was going to release a report. He resigns. They knew it was going to be an uphill battle with members of the Senate. Many speculated he could be a sacrificial lamb or whatever you want to call it.
This makes more sense, right? As to the lameness of the excuse to decline the nomination. This makes more sense. There's something else going on. There's another plan, Stan. There's another plan going on. What that is, why shift gears? I don't know. Maybe it was just throw them out there, let them be a distraction, leave stating it as a distraction as the excuse, but then put them somewhere else. Let's let him finish here.
Could just right now, he won his election. So he could just be like, January 3rd, I'll be back in Congress. There you go.
And they're trying to say that he might not get his seat back, but yeah, he'll get it back.
That's funny. Or he could become a senator, and then he could help Donald Trump confirm any of these appointments. Now, Rubio could. Yeah,
but so could Lord Trump. This is going to be an appointment, not an election. So the DeSantis can appoint anybody. So I don't understand why that is a strategy, but we'll see.
Too. Rubio, of course, will be going into the Trump administration, likely will get easily confirmed. And then DeSantis will need to appoint someone to take that Senate seat. Sounds to me like that person might very well be Matt Gaetz. But nonetheless, I must say we're all deeply disappointed because Matt Gaetz is a nuclear weapon. He is a political nuclear weapon that we were hoping was going to go into the machine and was going to root out corruption and evil. But I'll tell you this.
In a very fascinating way.
Tulsi Gabbard and others, I'm hoping this doesn't start to break down Trump has signaled greatly that he's chosen many, many great people. Matt Gaetz really sealed the deal. Icing on the cake. We felt confident. Tulsi Gabbard's DNI is good too, but they're attacking her all the same. Is she going to withdraw? She better.
They're going to attack everybody. I mean, I'm fully expecting everybody to get attacked. Like, I mean, so what? We get to have who we want. They got to put a freaking tranny and a goddamn idiots all over the place in their administration. And we had to tolerate it. We had to put up with it for 4 years. No, game over. It's our turn. Now you get to see what we're going to do with our team. You're going to sit back and you're going to sit there and watch us make America great again, right? No more BS from you. Like, screw this. You don't get a say. You lost. We have the mandate. Game over.
Or not, Matt Gaetz needs some position where we know he's going to be deeply involved. And we still haven't gotten confirmation that Kash Patel will be the FBI director. Only Kash was a trending hashtag on X.
That's
so
true.
This rocks my confidence.
But we already know who the nomination is. So at this point, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to the breaking news. And we're going to get on to who that is. Who is it? Who is that? As soon as I get my other tab up, we'll be doing it. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, didn't take very long. Trump picks former Florida AG Pam Bondi to replace Gaetz. Let's check out the breaking news.
Breaking tonight, a lot happening during this show. Just announced, the president-elect has selected Pam Bondi as the next Attorney General of the United States. I'll read from this announcement from the president-elect. I'm proud to announce former Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi, as our next Attorney General of the United States. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years, where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the streets safe for Florida families. Then, as Florida's first female Attorney General, she worked to stop the trafficking of deadly drugs and reduce the tragedy of fentanyl overdoses deaths, which have destroyed many families in our country. She did such an incredible job that I asked her to serve as our Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission. During my first term, we saved many lives. Again, he goes on to say she's smart and tough and is America's first fighter who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Again, Pam Bondi from Florida, the next nominee for President-elect Trump, who obviously saw today that Matt Gaetz pulled his name from nomination as the votes were not there on Capitol Hill in the Senate for Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Pam Bondi, now the name that the president-elect has put forward in that position.
Okay, so Fox News is saying, hold on, I don't know what's going to happen next. All right. Whoa, what's that? That's old. Somehow something about a tornado hitting Florida ahead of Hurricane Milton came up. That's an old one right there. Yeah. So the Fox News is saying he didn't have the votes. Can that be true? Didn't have the votes. What about a close? What they say? A recess appointment? I thought we could do recess appointment. I left that up there extra long for you, Jacob. Andre Dite, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you over there on Rumble. Everybody say hello to Andre Dite. Holding it down on Rumble for us over on that side. Thanks for being there. The lone chat, I see you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Someone will come over in there and say hi to you in a second. Hey, Marshall, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. So happy that you're here. All right. So Bondi. I've heard the name before. So she's going to be the one, huh? All right. Well, if Trump picked her, she says he's tough as nails. I'm sure she'll do a great job. You know, not as flashy of a pick as Matt, but it's all about getting the job done, right? It's all about getting the job done. That's what I think. That's what I care about. So that, unfortunately, is the way it went. But Matt Gaetz will be back. I'm sure of it. And speaking of Matt Gaetz, let's see what this. we have to do. We have to go watch another another legal statement from The View on Matt Gaetz. Another one, 2 in a row. How nice! I love it.
Sorry. I have a legal note. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime. Gaetz previously dismissed allegations that he paid for sex, saying that, quote, someone is trying to recategorize my generosity to ex-girlfriends as something more untoward. Another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
Just call the show Legal Note from now on.
Yeah, because you guys suck ass. That's why. Can't wait till you're off the air. Oh, geez, man. These people. So out of style. They're going to age out and they'll go away. Bye-bye. Speaking of aging out and going away, coming up later in this show, we got MSNBC start to age out and go away too. That's a good thing. So let's see, what else do I have here on that? Do I have anything more on cabinet positions here? I think that's all we got. We covered a lot of cabinet picks last night. So Pam is the new one. And I guess, I don't know. Doesn't matter. We're gonna get it. And oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. It sucks. This isn't a great day for good news, but it's there's some news out there, right? There's some news. Can I do this one? Okay. Yeah, and one of the other big news today that came out, not politically, it's socially politically important, I guess, but not politically important, is ass clown, cultural Marxist, divider, race hoax, race hustler, Jesse Smollett convicted for hate crime hoax. His charges have been dismissed in a surprising 5-0 decision by Illinois Supreme Court. Yeah, so clown world, race baiter, race hoaxer, riot inciting racism, inciting Jesse Smollett, failed actor, destroyed career, Jesse Smollett, I guess is going to be released after making up a racist hoax against white people to demonize whites and the Make America Great movement. Jesse Smollett's conviction for his headline grabbing hate crime hoax has been dismissed. Something about the special, let's read. The Illinois Supreme Court on Thursday said was a surprising decision, ruled that an agreement between the former Empire actor and Cook County State Attorney Kim Foxx to drop to Kim Foxx to drop criminal charges in exchange for a fine and community service should have stood. Right, but Kim Foxx is the one who was the problem, right? So why would the disgraced Kim Foxx, why would her after he lied and wasted taxpayer money, so he should be rotting in jail, and especially after he tried to incite potential race riots with this, very dangerous thing to do. He needs to be made an example of. There's Jesse Smollett, the 2 men wearing ski masks beat him up, put a rope around his neck, poured bleach on him. Holler, this is bad country. Well, we are aware that this case has generated significant public interest and that many people were dissatisfied with the resolution of the original case and believed it would be unjust. The court said, who did that? Who? I thought it was very just, and I think he should have had more time put on his sentence. Nevertheless, that would be more unjust than the resolution of any one crime case would be a holding from this court that the state was not bound to honor agreements upon which people have detrimentally relayed. What the fuck does that mean? The station added that the court referred to Bill Cosby case in Pennsylvania as part of its decision. What? Bill Cosby didn't pretend like he got jumped by Trump supporters in order to promote racism. That has nothing to do with it. It's a fallacy to bring Bill Cosby into this. As the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania recently stated, when enforcing a sorry guys, I should have made that a little bit bigger for you. All of us enforcing a prosecutor promise not to prosecute, it cannot be gainsaid. What the hell does that mean? That society holds a strong interest in the persecution of crimes. It is also true that no such interest, however important, can eclipse society's interest in ensuring that the constitutional rights of the people are vindicated. Society's interest in the prosecution does not displace the remedy due to constitutional aggrieved persons. Cosby. Shut the hell up. The court said it had remanded the Smollett case back to the circuit court to enter a judgment of dismissal. Bullshit. WLS reported, adding that 2 of the 7 state Supreme Court justices didn't take part in the argument or decision. And Illinois' appeal court in December upheld Smollett's disorderly conduct conviction by a 2-to-1 vote. The station said, adding that Smollett then appealed to the state Supreme Court. All right. Well, bottom line is bullshit. And clown loser, failed acting career is, I guess, going to be back on the streets, trying to look for more people to frame unjustly. Yeah, judgment is whimsical. It's supposed to be blind justice, right? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's blind to me. In just a few countries in Illinois, we were making it a blue cesspool. Max Mura, my friend, what's up? How you doing? Justice for Juicy? No, we don't like justice for Juicy. No good. No good. Yeah, I guess so, right? I don't know. Yep, not surprising. Megyn Kelly had a good take on it. Okay, well, maybe we'll check in with Megyn Kelly to see what she has to say about it, because she's had some really good takes lately. I dig that. But yeah, that was like one of the headlines there, and that a cheese ball is going to be out there again. And I hope he gets sued or somehow loses all his money and never is able to work again. Honestly, he should be rotting in jail right now. I don't know how long the sentence was for anyways, but I mean, honestly, the nerve of what he did deserves to be made an example of, so no one ever does it again. Or at least, we keep it to a minimum. Wow. The father of the Georgia shooter from a little while back pleads not guilty to charges. I'm sorry, pleads not that he shares responsibility for killing. That's just a headline I was reading. All right, I'm back on it. Let me see if I got the if I could find it, I'll play it. Max, how you been, man? I hope you've been good. Everybody, did we drop links to Max's channel? Yeah, there we did. Make sure you check out Max Mira's channel. Max is one of the real ones out there. He does great content. There's a lot of people out there. What were we talking about the other day? There's a lot of dick and fart channels. They came up with that term. It's an awesome term. And Max isn't one of them. He's a real deal guy. So check out his channel. Check out his work. He puts effort into what he does. He researches it. He has interesting stories that are fun from the other side of the world. Max Muir, good friend, and I wish him all the success. So definitely hook him up if you're not on his channel yet. You'll enjoy what he has to talk about. It's very interesting stuff. All right. Oh, this is interesting. Speaking of crime, where are we at here? Did I put this under here? I did. Okay. Let's talk about some border stuff here real quick, and we'll go back through. It's kind of getting a mishmash today. I'm a mashup today of stuff. I'm not going to go in any particular order, I don't think. This is usually, I think, the day after the second 2024 of the week is just kind of like me picking up all the stories I didn't get to during the week already, and whatever else has popped up since, right? So a little bit different format to keep it fresh and new. Crown Target, what's up? Possibly. But think of it this way: he ruined his life, has no credibility now, and will have to struggle to make ends meet. All not taxpayer funded, so perhaps this is a plus. Yeah, thanks, Crown. Thanks for the silver lining there. That's probably pretty true. Although I do fear that someone's going to eventually try to sneak him back into something. You know, but whatever. He'll always wear the race bait or race hoaxer label. That's the truth. Oh yeah, we got to talk about PA. We got to talk about the other piece here, the one that you sent me. Yes, North Carolina. All right, yeah. Pull that one over here. Let's do that first before I get to the next part. This here, and the other one was this one, two expos. Oh, man, why would I open that? All right, here we go. And that one. Thank you, Heidi, for that. I see you sent me something here. This is the one. Okay, back to back. Senate updates. Here we go. Senate updates. Cool. And I'll pull this up for next. All right. Awesome. Perfect. Actually, I should do this one first. All right. Jussie Smollett. We're gonna take one more run at this. Since I just got the breaking from Megyn Kelly. Let's get Megyn Kelly's take on it. She'll be nice and spicy for us, right? And let's make sure she's on winning speed. And where's T-Rex trucking? He might be getting some much needed sleep, as the and more now stands for illness. We're gonna get him healthy again. Make T-Rex healthy again. That's what we're gonna do. All right, here we go. Let's see what Miss Spice has to say here.
Has been given an amazing lifeline by the Illinois Supreme Court, which just reversed his conviction, not on the grounds that he did not perpetrate a fake race hoax on the city of Chicago and the nation, but on the ground that, if you remember, the original prosecutor in the case, Kim Foxx, a woke DEI promoting George Soros prosecutor, didn't want to charge him and cut a plea deal with him, a non-prosecution agreement that let him off the hook for some community service and a handshake. And he signed it. And it was only in response to the outrage over that Special Prosecutor Dan Webb was brought in, former big muckety muck in Chicago, and he tried the case against Jussie Smollett. And Jussie's lawyers argued that this was a violation of his Fifth Amendment privileges, that it was basically trying to try him twice after the government had sworn or agreed that it would not try him, that they'd already cut a deal with him. And that ultimately proved persuasive to the Illinois Supreme Court, which ruled in a 5-0 ruling. There are 7 justices, 2 abstained, 5 justices, I don't know why, but 5 justices ruled they want a reversal. And now already you've got the far left crowd on Twitter going nuts about how everyone owes him an apology. And you mark they're going to spin this into he's somehow been exonerated, when really all the court said was you can't try him when he already admitted to it and struck a non-prosecution agreement with this loser DA, Kim Foxx.
Well, I am shocked to find that there's bad governance going on in Chicago, and I feel it's terrible that a man who committed a hate crime has been set free like this. This is just terrible.
It is terrible.
This is another guy. Are there any real hate crimes in America? I mean, I cannot remember the last time there was a high-profile hate crime, except against Jews, of course. But I can't remember there was the last time there was a high-profile hate crime that didn't turn out to be a fraud. So, you know, Jussie Smollett, I feel bad for the guy. I have to admit, when that show he was in, what was it called, Kingdom or something like that, came out, I was absolutely Empire. That's what it was. I was absolutely stunned by the guy's talent. I remember sitting there going, "Wow, that guy can really sing." And apparently, he just sang the wrong song, and now his career is in shambles.
I don't feel sorry for him.
But what can we say? The guy
has escaped. That's the real question.
Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe he'll win an Oscar for this. You know?
Or will he be totally embraced by the left, who will pretend that this was some sort of exoneration on the merits, when that's not, in fact, at all what happened. Just reading now here from the Chicago Tribune, reminding us of exactly how this went down. Weeks after indicting him, prosecutors dropped all counts against him, noting that he forfeited his $10,000 bond and had done community service. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx previously handed the case to deputies, saying she had recused herself. And the court found here that we are aware this case has generated significant public interest and that many people were dissatisfied with the resolution of the original case and believed it to be unjust. Nevertheless, what would be more unjust then the resolution of any one criminal case would be a holding from this court that the state was not bound to honor agreements upon which people have detrimentally relied. Here's what's nuts.
All right. I've had enough of this guy. Let's move on to the Senate stuff. Enough about Jesse. That's all the attention he's ever going to get. That's it. Game over. Game over, man. All right. Okay, good. This is the one I want. Good news coming out of PA. I can still access X. I just can't do anything on it.
Every eligible vote cast could be counted.
This is Bob Casey, and after they tried to steal the election, the Senate seat in PA by counting it until the freaking cows came home, he's finally done the right thing and conceded the race. And let's hope he just goes out into let's hope that he never rears his head again in politics.
I just called Dave McCormick to congratulate him on his election to represent Pennsylvania in the United States Senate. As the first count of ballots is completed, Pennsylvanians can move forward with the knowledge that their voices were heard, whether their vote was the first to be counted or the last. This race was one of the closest in our Commonwealth's history, decided by less than a quarter of a point.
I doubt it.
Thousands of people who worked to make sure that every eligible vote cast,
I doubt it,
including election officials in all 67 counties.
Sorry, it's slow.
When a Pennsylvanian takes the time to cast a legal vote, often waiting in long lines and taking time away from their work and family, they deserve.
Okay, Bob Casey he's done. He's out. No more having to worry about PA Senate seat flipping. That's that. I'm not wasting any more time on that clown. All right, but we have something else we need to look into here. Let me switch my headset so I can read over here. All right, we're still good. All right, good. All right, let me take a look at this over here. That's the one right there. Thank you for this crown. Let's take a look at this right here. Can I do that? Yes. All right. Breaking GOP North Carolina Supreme Court candidate Jefferson Griffin, whose lead was overcome by late ballots in favor of the Democrat candidate, again with the F curve, right? I mean, dude, this is really, they're still doing it. Everybody that pulls this BS needs to be investigated, and everybody who's counting these ballots late, who's suddenly coming in with all this big bulk of ballots for the other candidate at the last minute. This is sketch. It's sus. It shouldn't be happening. Leavitt, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy that you're here, my man. So yeah, we're just discussing this going on in North Carolina. So they've the late ballots flipped a seat that should have gone to a Republican in North Carolina for the Supreme Court. Has filed a challenge to the validity of over 60,000 ballots. So it took 60,000 ballots to come in and flip the seat over. Griffin's last list includes votes from dead people. Yeah, that they don't count, right? Votes with incomplete registrations against state law, and felons who unlawfully voted. Wow, and they unlawfully voted for the Democrat. How about that? All these people did. The dead people, the incomplete registrations, and the felons. They all voted for the Democrat. That's amazing. He also included people who voted but were not even registered to do so. So unregistered voters. The margin is currently 625. If just 626 of the 60,000 challenge votes are deemed illegal, the courts will have no choice but to order a new election. Another chance for the Democrats to try to cheat with a bunch of invalid votes. Democrat Allison Riggs released a statement attacking Griffin for bringing the challenge. How dare you stop us from rigging this? But based on the evidence his team provided, there are more than enough unlawful votes to tip the outcome. I've been studying election fraud for years, haven't we all? This is the most hard proof I've seen. I'll post a screenshot of some of the evidence. This has to be remediated. Wow, look how close that is, too. That's really close. 50-50. All right, so that's I don't know if that's a screenshot or not, but oh wow. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Yeah. Oh wow, look how nice and clear that is. All right, so the names are crossed out. Deceased with votes. So these are all the dead voters right here. Yeah, look at that. Removed from votes, removed voters with votes. Okay, so all these people were removed. So there's just 2 pages of it right there. Stock full of people that should not be voting. And throw the book at her. Willie Brown, good old Willie Brown says if it's deemed that she cheated, throw the effing book at her. And Willie, I would give you a heart if I could, but I can't. So that's the way it is. However, yeah. So more shenanigans. I know. I just want to go after all of them. I'm so tired of it. They all need to go. Yeah. And see, the problem is like people get away with this stuff, and then there's nothing happens to them, and then so they just keep trumping along. I mean, they keep moving along, and doing it again and again and again. And until someone realizes that they're going to get thrown in jail and lose their livelihood, and the establishment's not going to come rescue them, then everybody will stop. Everybody will stop. Lamb's Grace, how you doing? Good to see you. Dead people always vote Democrat. I know, right? They always do. How is that? How is it they always love those Democrats, don't they? Wow, good to see you. Good to see you. Amazing how committed dead people can be, right? Yeah, I know they really are committed. They are super committed to that party. They love that party. They're coming back from the grave for that party. No doubt, no doubt. All right. Oh man, predictable as the weather. I mean, predictable as traffic on a Friday in Atlanta. There you go. That's how predictable it is. You can't get more predictable than that. I'll tell you right now, like you wouldn't believe. I'm glad you're doing great. I'm glad you're doing great. Bringing dignity to the name. Dignity to the name. All right. What we got up here next? Oh, like I said, I'm just gonna be jumping around. Probably won't follow any particular order unless I change my mind right in the middle of doing it. Okay, yeah, we're going here next. All right, guys. Let's take out some border action, some Prime Must Watch kind of mixed into one. You guys won't believe this. I love it when the truth hits the deniers in the face, right? And this story right here exemplifies it better than most that are out there right now. Bringing in our good friend, one of the most base creators out there. Let's bring in Greg Foreman for this one. All right, guys, check this out. Woke DA Alvin Bragg's prosecutor attacked and robbed by illegal immigrant gang member from Trinidad, Aragua.
Trial has essentially been a massive political lightning rod here in this country. And you said it there yourself, the president-elect campaigning on the death of Laken Riley and pointing to the current administration, saying that their laws and what they're calling failed policies contributed to Laken Riley's death. I want to remind you that Ibarra entered this country illegally in 2022, according to law enforcement officials, and he was paroled and released for further processing by ICE. And since that time he entered the country, he was arrested another time. Law enforcement officers saying that he was arrested in 2023 in New York City and charged with acting in a manner to injure a child less than 17, as well as a motor vehicle violation. But it's important to know that although there is very little evidence indicating a connection between immigration and violent crime, this is still something the President-elect Trump, several Republicans on the Hill wanted to essentially plant their flag on and point that to the current Biden administration. And we saw that even as early as President Biden's latest State of the Union address, where Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene infamously interrupted President Biden, forcing him to acknowledge the death of Laken Riley, something that President Biden did by holding up a pin in her during that State of the Union. But it is important to note that all of this vitriol that we're hearing from Republicans and President-elect Trump regarding the policies of the Biden administration, it's important to know that President-elect Trump did force Republicans to essentially tank a bipartisan border security bill that both sides of the aisle said
bullshit. 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 You're so full of shit, dude. Full of shit, sell out. I'm gonna watch my language. Yeah. Bullshit. Tank the bill No, he did. President Trump was not in office and tank a bill to do anything. They said this bill was bullshit. Bipartisan. Neocons don't count as bipartisan. They're on your all side. So when you say it's bipartisan, you mean neocons and establishment, left, establishment, right, were teamed up as always against the based MAGA Republicans out there that said, no, this bill is bullshit. All it does is send a bunch of money overseas and give you 1,400 more border patrol agents to help facilitate bringing in more illegals and people who are faking asylum, right? No, that's all the bill did. You're sitting there lying. You should be ashamed of yourself. I hope your mama whoops your ass.
It would have essentially addressed border security and immigration issues, Kira.
Yeah. So what you guys just
Get him,
saw there
Greg.
is another example of why people do not trust the mainstream liberal media. Okay. That dude
Right?
essentially
That's all I
tried
thought.
to blame Trump for the illegal immigration crisis, right? He tried to basically say that Trump blaming the Democrats for the death of Lake and
That's right,
Riley.
Lamb.
Also,
Definitely.
all of the other negative things that have happened as a result of illegal immigration in this country is unfair, right? It is unfair for Trump to blame the Democrats. That's essentially what that ABC anchor is trying to argue.
Scott.
But yet he wants to blame Trump for not getting on board with a so-called bipartisan border bill that would not secure the border. And by the way, Trump is not in Congress, right? So again, I'm
Right.
not sure why is it they keep blaming Trump when
they're
he
idiot
does not have a
parrots.
vote on
Prostitutes.
that bill, right? He doesn't get the opportunity to vote on it. Again, it just shows you the desperation to
Ellie.
defend the indefensible, which is the fact that Democrats have put themselves in
It's time
this
for
situation
spice.
when it comes to the illegal immigration crisis in this country. And we have to talk about another situation in which Democrats are facing the consequences of the policies that they supported. Like, for example, throughout all of the last 4 years after the George Floydification of this country, Democrats have not only supported illegal immigration, mass illegal immigration, they've also supported being soft on crime. So when you have illegal immigrants pour into the country because of the Democrats and their open border policies, due to the sanctuary city policies of the Democrat Party, the
Good night,
illegal
Last.
immigrants aren't arrested.
Thank you
If
for
they are
being
arrested,
here.
they aren't charged, and they're definitely not deported because of the sanctuary city policies that demand that local law enforcement do not work with ICE in order to deport criminals. And Democrats have suffered the consequences of their soft on crime policies. And we've talked about these stories a lot. And we have to talk about another story in which a Democrat is suffering from the policies of being soft on crime, having a sanctuary city, and the border being open all at the same time, which is the cause of Lincoln Riley's death. But this time, the victim is a prosecutor from woke DA Alvin Bragg's Manhattan office. Okay, she was robbed and attacked in her apartment by an illegal immigrant that is suspected to be a part of a Venezuelan gang. Take a look.
Next story about violence in New York City.
this
Another
out.
story about it. A city where residents are already questioning why the flood of random attacks.
And this particular
Why?
attack with an
I
unusual.
don't understand why are all these people, the criminals from other countries, attacking us when they come here illegally? We don't get it.
twist clearly proves that nobody is immune to street violence. The victim
Yeah,
this
they
time,
don't. But I helped you get in here. Well, we don't care. We're gonna attack you anyway.
an assistant district attorney here in Manhattan. She was confronted Sunday at her
Yes,
apartment in
Wolfram. That's
Midtown.
what we
And
call
the
it.
evildoer and all
That's
this
what we
hitting her
call
up
it.
for money and then engaged in a disgusting behavior. Here's
Oh,
Lauren Glasper.
disgusting behavior.
Well, that suspect, 25-year-old Brandon Samosa, will be arraigned at criminal court here in Lower Manhattan, but it will actually be a Bronx district attorney that prosecutes him. That's to avoid any conflict of interest since the alleged victim is a Manhattan assistant district attorney. This is video of a smiling Brandon Samosa being led out of the Midtown.
Yeah, there you go. This is the best. This is the best are sitting here. This is the people that they're going to defend. They want to keep in our country. They say these people are great, just looking for an opportunity.
South Precinct on West
Look at
35th
him.
Street.
He's very happy that he did all these crimes. He's very happy. People that want to support criminals coming into our country, take a look at this guy. Take a good look at him. This is what you vote for when you vote for the establishment.
Morning. Police say at about 2 a.m. Sunday, he robbed a
Look at him.
38-year-old woman in the hallway of her Hell's Kitchen apartment building. He allegedly grabbed her purse, cell phone, and bank
Look at
cards,
him.
and also
He doesn't think anything's going to happen to him. Cocky as hell.
performed a lewd act. The victim is a
lewd act.
Manhattan assistant DA.
Who's this lewd act? Does anybody know what the lewd act was?
She was not injured. Police traced her stolen cell phone to a hotel on West 45th Street, which led them to
Dumbass.
believe the suspect is a migrant, and they were able to track him down. Samosa was arrested just last night. Police say he was using drugs on the street and had stolen items with him.
Yeah, I guess he didn't use his taxpayer his taxpayer money, his free taxpayer money to buy a belt. But he's ready for prison, as you can see right here.
Police believe he is part of Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang that has preyed on people in Times Square and Central Park. Somoza is facing a number of...
Aren't you guys happy? All you people who voted for Kamala, that that what you wanted is happening.
Counts including sexually motivated robbery and burglary. He also has 6 prior arrests, all from this year on similar crimes. And he's believed to have arrived in the U.S. in February of 2023 in Lower Manhattan.
Wow. So he's been here almost a year. Lewd act could be that he was spanking it in public. Pants are a tad short. I'm happy I don't live in a city or suburb. Yeah, it's really getting bad out there, man. What are you doing?
Lauren Glassberg, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah. So this situation right here highlights the problem with the illegal immigrants in this country, right? The problems that Democrats refuse to address, that they refuse to take responsibility for, because over and over and over and over and over again, we're seeing the same pattern of behavior here, which is, one, the illegals were allowed into the country because of Biden's open border policies, okay? And then they're transported to some liberal city in which they start to commit crimes and cause chaos. They get arrested multiple times for very serious crimes. And not only are they not deported because of the sanctuary city policies, they are let back into the street, right?
So why did this one get news, right? Because it happened to somebody notable, but it's happening to people every day. It doesn't make the news.
Commit more crimes until eventually they commit an extremely serious crime, like, for example, murdering somebody, which is exactly what happened to Laken Riley. But according to ABC News, oh, well, that's not the Democrats' fault. That this is Asian vitriol coming from the Trump campaign to say that Democrats are responsible. When quite literally, you can document each Democrat policy and trace it directly back to why this illegal immigrant was let into the country in the first place. Why is it that they ended up in a liberal city? Why is it that they were arrested and they were not deported? And why is it that they were just let back out into the streets, right? All of these things have to do with Democrat policies. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. And that's the irony here, because Alvin Bragg's office is responsible, right? They're responsible for not helping.
And that's the irony. That's the karma, right? Wolfram, that's the karma.
ICE deport these illegals, right? For enforcing these sanctuary city policies, because they are supposed to have these illegal immigrants who commit these crimes held so that they can be deported, but they refuse to do so. And what is the result? Well, it seems like there's nobody that is immune from the consequences of bad policies, even those who are responsible for the bad policy.
Yeah, even the ones they're responsible for. And I'm all about the, let karma happen, let it happen. And I'd like for all the people that have ever voted for this and been ignorant to it and have enabled it and have been apathetic towards it to get a taste of this, just like that woman did. I think they all need a taste of it. They all need a good old taste of it. They need a good old taste of everything that they want to call us crazy for bringing up, call us crazy for trying to stop, to resolve. They all need to get a taste of it. They all need to get a taste of it, because that's the only thing that's going to snap them out of their slumber. Like Yuri said, they don't wake up until the boot crashes down on their head, and a lot of times it's just getting a taste of it. Oh yeah. Migrant lives matter. America, you owe them. Work harder. Wealth distribution is the key to social and economic equality. Isn't it creepy how this is actually how some on the left still think? Yes, Max, it really is. It really is. And that's what I'm saying. They all need a taste, don't they? They all need a big old taste of it. Max Mirror, y'all. It's okay. You can go ahead. I see this happen to other creators, so I don't feel special anymore. Come on now. It even happens to Tim Pool, the mighty Tim Pool.
Again, it's crazy to me how Democrats always have to learn the hard way. Okay. But hey, at least woke DA Alvin Bragg, he's focused on the real criminals, which he apparently believes is the president of the United States, or the president-elect, whom he is so hell-bent on trying to throw in jail that he is now advocating to further delay the sentencing of the former president, so that in 4 years after President Trump is done with his second term, he can try to throw Trump in jail again instead of just giving up. Take a look.
Joining me now is Jim Trusty, former assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Maryland and previously represented Donald Trump in both the January 6th and classified documents case. Jim, good to see you again. What do you make of this decision by Alvin Bragg?
I think Bragg's lining up the punt on second down. I mean, you're exactly right. This is crazy territory. And I think there's a backstory that's worth mentioning here. You know, this is, by all accounts, an inventive prosecution. That's probably the cleanest word I can use for it on TV. And one that I know you've called out as being kind of selective and strange and misguided. But it's also a case that even if you accept that these inventive felonies are somehow crimes, that your own internal bookkeeping about a perfectly legal NDA is a crime, it shouldn't lead to jail for anybody.
Right.
And so the backstory in my mind is Bragg's office, for all of these like ridiculous statements about how they just care about accountability and fairness, if they were not seeking jail, they could say, let's just go to sentencing. We're not even asking for prison, judge. Let's get this over with. So clearly, I think behind the scenes, I don't know this from any inside knowledge, but strikes me the right inference here is Bragg's office wants to seek jail on this ridiculous case. And now they want to basically just punt it for 4 years and hope that the dust settles in a way that they can come back and do it. I mean, it's ludicrous to me.
Let's say it wasn't jail time. Let's say it was community service. I mean, I can't see the president-elect, on the side of the road cleaning up trash either.
Well, he has a trash truck and he's got a vest, so I don't know about that, Dan. I mean, that worked out pretty well being called
That's true.
Yeah. So again, that is how much their priorities are out of line, right? I mean, this guy is literally prioritizing trying to throw Trump in jail 4 years from now because he knows that if he actually tries to do it now, he's not going to be able to do it because Trump is president, right? And that could make the whole case fall apart. A case that should never have been brought in the first place, but it was because, again, this guy clearly is trying to prosecute his political opponents, right? He's clearly abusing the powers of his office. And because he can't get his way, right? Because the president being elected again is getting into his way. He's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm just going to wait 4 years. And then I'm going to try to jail the guy, right? I'm just saying, if they put this much effort into actually prosecuting and going after actual criminals, right? And the illegal immigrants that are committing crimes, I don't know, maybe New York would actually be a safer place. But instead, they put time and effort into going after their political opponents, and you can see the result, right? Crime is so out of control. The illegal immigration problem is so out of control that
we're going to talk about this stuff coming up.
Are getting robbed, right? They're getting robbed, okay? Getting attacked.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Let them get their own medicine. Thanks, Greg, man. I appreciate all the hard work, good content you put out, man. You're good. You're a good dude. Yeah. Along that line. Oh yeah, here. Okay. I wanted to do a little recap and a little deeper dive on the story from yesterday, the lead story from yesterday about deportation plans already being drawn up and Texas getting in early to be a big part of the solution. Let's go with this special report right after this. Shelly was mean to you today? I doubt it. She needs to be admonished. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. But I tell you what I can do for you. I can do for you this. Since Max, you're still here, aren't you? Dude, I gotta thank Max Muir again for getting me the sponsorship and actually putting the commercial together. And helping me with the sponsorship. Of course, this is I think this may have been when it got me taken off of X. I don't know, man. It may be. They said I was pushing counterfeit goods. Max, I had to make sure. Max, you here, right? Are you here, Max? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. I'll just assume that he's here. Anyways, it's time to play our quote unquote sponsor tonight. And again, thanks to Max for getting me the sponsor and for starring in the commercial.
明星一平ちゃん一平ちゃん前の子がアップしてんじゃんやばいよやばいよやばいの俺だけうまそう俺は一口目は絶対混ぜないのよだってからしマヨ感じたいっしょツーンとくるんだろおーうんま焼きそばにはこのからしマヨがないと新からしマヨでこってりうまい明星一平ちゃん
Yeah, I still can't figure out what it means, but thank you for that. See. Uh-oh. Thank you for the super chat. $5 super chat, Talking Trash Dudes. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I need the bad girl room. There's only one bad girl room around here, and it's just between the two of us. All right, there you go. All right. Let's check this out. Again, follow up from yesterday. And more from, and this is from Governor Abbott, and more about how we're going to attack the deportation, the immigration issue by deportation, mass deportation. The plan is coming together. Let's dive deeper.
1.4 million illegal migrants in the United States who are subject to deportation orders by immigration judges, but they have not yet been removed from the country. Only 13,000 are being held in ICE custody. This as President-elect Trump confirms he is preparing to declare a national emergency and use the military as part of his mass deportation effort. The state of Texas also now offering the second Trump administration 1,400 acres of land to stage that mass deportation operation and to build a facility for processing, detention, and coordination. Texas Land Commissioner Dawn Buckingham provided land in Starr County, which the state purchased from the ranch owner last month. Trump flipped Starr County red in the presidential election for the first time in over 100 years. Joining me right now is the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. Governor, great to see you.
Oh, you too. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you so much for all that you've done in your efforts to secure this country and, of course, the state of Texas. Give us your sense of what this deportation program will look like and how you will be assisting President Trump in doing so.
So listen, this is going to be a very robust deportation program by the President Trump, by Tom Homan, who's going to do the borders are. Listen,
get Hulk Hogan involved.
Out earlier, there's more than 1.4 million people who have been identified who are on the removal list, and so that's a great starting point. But I know from Homan, I know from Trump that what they really want to do is make sure that they target all of the criminals who are inside our country, which is an extraordinarily large number, posing a danger to people in the United States. Get those criminals out, and Maria, no, we have terrorists who came across the border who are walking around our country. We have to have an urgency to identify them, target them, and deport them. But we got to do several things at the very same time. While we're working on deporting the people, we also have to be equally successful at denying illegal entry. That includes putting up the barriers and doing everything possible to prevent anybody from crossing between a port of entry. And then after that, Maria, we also have to be very aggressive, because even if we have great security of the border itself, we're going to have the cartels, the MS-13s, the Trinidad that work their way into the United States. And so this is going to require ongoing vigilance by Texas, by other states, as well as by the Trump administration.
Yeah, I think this is a really important point, because while you all are preparing to, implement this deportation, we've got more people coming right now as we sit there. So Texas is reportedly planning to expand those floating buoy border barriers in anticipation of this migrant surge ahead of Trump's inauguration. Tell me what it looks like today at the border. And, you keep pushing back. I mean, the Biden administration tried to get you to remove these buoys, and you held firm. Did they?
Why would they do that?
Keeping people out, and where are the plans going now?
So these buoys were designed by the Border Patrol because they were, in fact, effective at denying illegal entry. And they gave them to Biden to put into the river himself. And Biden said he wouldn't use them. I said, well, I'll use them. And I put them in the river. And as soon as I put them in the river, Joe Biden files a lawsuit to put a stop to it. And I told Joe Biden to stick it, that we are keeping the buoys in the river. They've remained in the river ever since then. What we're doing this morning, we are expanding those buoys in the river. They are completely effective at denying illegal entry. And a byproduct, they cost less than building a border wall, which Texas is doing also. And so this is a way to expand our protection, or preventing people from entering into the state of Texas at a lower cost.
It's just unbelievable what has happened. I don't understand what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were thinking, to have this wide open border and all these people coming in that are unvetted. And now we understand, because of this hearing of Mr. Ibarra, who reportedly, allegedly killed Laken Riley in Georgia. The only reason that he was an illegal, the reason he was in Georgia is because he was offered a paid-for flight from Biden to go to Georgia.
Yeah, by you and all the taxpayers across the country.
We paid for it.
Yeah, we paid for it. The same thing happened in Houston, Texas. We had a 12-year-old girl who was accosted, bound, raped, and murdered by Trinidad. This is something that's been happening across the country. Listen, I took action on this, Maria, because I signed a law that I invoked this September, where I declared Trinidad as a foreign terrorist organization. We're using every law enforcement tool in the state of Texas, where we are arresting these Trinidad members, putting them behind bars, sending the message to Trinidad. They picked on the wrong state when they came into the state of Texas.
I was so gratified when you did that. Thank you for doing that. I mean, because walking around in New York, you're looking behind you, because they're running around all states.
Exactly.
We saw them in Colorado. They're in New York. And of course, they're originating in Texas, coming right over the border from Venezuela. I want to get your take on these executive orders that you've issued. Governor, you issued a pair of executive orders this week to protect Texas from the Chinese Communist Party. Now, this is a subject we are all over on this program, have been for many years. This protects Texas from the CCP's espionage operation by directing all state agencies and public higher education institutions to harden state systems, safeguard critical infrastructure. The other EO, combat coordinated harassment and coercion by the CCP, directing the Texas Department of Public Safety to target and arrest any criminals executing Chinese influence operations. You've noted the possible presence of a Chinese police service station in Houston.
Right.
Tell us how the CCP has been able to infiltrate the state of Texas.
So a lot of Americans really are unaware of the extent to which China uses people operating in states to try to co-opt the states so that they will be able to infiltrate the United States even more. Espionage is just a part of it. First is coercing people who may be, let's say, in the state of Texas, who are dissidents from China. And what China tries to do to rein them in and try to get them to go back to China is to target them. And we've had people targeted under a program that's implemented by the country of China, by the CCP, targeting people in the state of Texas. And I said that we're going to arrest anybody involved in the CCP, anybody involved in this program who's going after Texans. So we got China going after people in Texas. We got China going after our intellectual property in our universities, as well as in other areas. We have China going after our power grid. Texas has by far the largest power grid in the entire United States of America. We produce more than twice the power of the second and third states in the United States. If our power grid is shut down by the CCP, it would be totally catastrophic for the country of the United States. And then, of course, we have the largest oil field in the United States, the third largest oil field in the world. And all of these things are ways in which China could pose an extreme harm on the United States of America. We must harden our assets, harden our capabilities of fighting back against China and the CCP trying to infiltrate into the state of Texas.
You have been so tough on all of the issues that matter to the American people, Governor. Again, thank you for that. Let me just get your take, though, on why we've seen no pushback whatsoever from the current administration. I mean, you're talking about fentanyl flowing through and the underlying components are in China. You're talking about intellectual property theft for decades. You're talking about, 50,000 Chinese nationals coming through the southern border, surveillance, espionage. And yet, they're getting into our military installations as well. And yet Joe Biden did nothing about it.
Listen, Biden either doesn't know or doesn't care.
He wants it to happen
for America. America got set back during the 4 years of the Biden administration. And I believe is one reason why Donald Trump did more than win. He had a landslide victory. Americans, for one, didn't like the woke leftism, the girls and our boys and girls sports,
right?
And the open border
who
policies,
likes that?
But they also saw how America was more.
Honestly, who's a fan of that? Like, who's like, oh, I'm going to see the tranny beat up on the chicks. I mean, who loves that stuff? Who are the people that love that? Kamala Harris loves it. I guess Joe Biden loves it. I guess it's some kind of kink or something. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, they did. Yeah, you Lambs, did you see Line in the Sand with us? Did you get the link? There's a link in the description. You got to watch I Am Racist, that documentary. I got your comment. Thank you for that. But if you haven't seen Line in the Sand, and that goes for everybody here, there's a link in the description below over to my secret site. Right? It's not so secret, but it's secret. It's where I can actually go put things when they're taken down. And by the way, speaking of Am I Racist? That got taken down on Rumble. It did. Days later, a long time later, I changed the title and put Matt Walsh in the title. I think I might have done it. However, fresh off the presses today, I uploaded just that part of the show onto the BitChute page as well, BitChute channel as well. So now I have two videos over there. So every time something gets taken down, it's going over there. All right, we ain't messing around no more. So, anyways, Line in the Sand is over there, and I Am I Racist is over there. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. If you go to one, you'll find the other. I should put both links. I did put the BitChute link in the kickoff show stream. So the BitChute link is there for Am I Racist. So hopefully anybody who wants to watch it will find it. And yeah, screw the paywalls, man. I don't want to get off topic here, but these people who are creating these really great documentaries, right, need to stop being so effing greedy. I'm sick of it. Like these are documentaries that people need to see that won't go and pay for your stupid website, right? They don't want to be part of the Daily Wire. They don't want to be part of the Tucker Carlson network, all right? They don't like you guys. But, this is the kind of documentary they may find one day, start to watch and be like, I just learned something. Maybe I like them now. Maybe I like them a little bit. Maybe I understand them a little bit better now. And like, that's how my generation of people that left the first veil, that have waken up, that have become and have awakened to the corrupt establishment and what's really going on in this world. My generation of it, the ones from like a decade, 2 decades ago, right? We came up on documentaries. Documentaries were made and put out and to help in that awareness campaign to get people to understand what they're dealing with in this world, right? To break them free of the establishment narrative. Those documentaries were key in doing that. And the fact that people go out there these days and make these really great ones and then hide behind a paywall is freaking ridiculous. They need to stop being so goddamn greedy and just put them out there. So I'm gonna break every paywall I see now. Like I'm just like, yeah, there you go. I'm gonna break them all, man. I'm gonna break. If it's a good documentary and I feel like it should be out there for free, it's going for free. Screw them. I don't care. I get it. They've invested money. They take the risk. I'm not disrespecting their business, but there's ways you can put out documentaries that have important information in it and create business from it. And it doesn't mean you put it behind a paywall and no one's going to ever see it, right? Are you going to put it in? I get it. You want to put it in a theater? Cool. Put it in a theater. Hope somebody goes and pays and watches it. But you're usually just talking to the people that already know who you are and want to see you, especially when you put it in a theater, right? They're fans. People that go to the movies are fans of what they're going to see. They're not going like, I'm going to go watch something that I'm totally against, right? Well, I'm going to go put money into that. No, they don't. But they do stumble across documentaries that are free, or somebody else turns them on to it, says you really should see this. Just watch it with an open mind. And a lot of times you can get someone to kind of like take a good look at something, right? Anyways, sorry for the tangent there in the middle of this other segment, but I just go with the flow. All right, let's finish this up.
Endangered internationally, whether it be with China, whether it be with Russia or whoever. They were asleep at the wheel on international affairs. And Donald Trump will, of course, correct that immediately.
Now, one way that the CCP infiltrates this country, and as Mike Pompeo has said to me many times, have gotten inside the gates of America is through universities.
Correct.
And I want to get your take on this because some people are worried that your executive order did not include getting Texas out of the state-sponsored universities and the related institutions, the employee retirement systems, where they're holding all these Chinese stocks that are trading on our U.S. exchanges.
So we're doing two things about that. One that we're doing is we're prohibiting universities as well as state agencies from having any contract with China or any businesses connected to China whatsoever. And that's big. But if you would stay tuned to an announcement that we will make tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the requirements that we are imposing on the university investment process to make sure that we are divesting from any investment in China or any business connected with China.
There are some analysts on Wall Street who think that we're going to see legislation on a federal level once Trump gets in to actually potentially delist those companies, those stocks, because it basically has investors unwittingly or wittingly funding the expansion of our number one enemy.
Right. Well, funding that, but also just from an investment standpoint, you have to look at risks. You got financial risks, you have political risks. Both of those risks are paramount as it concerns an investment by a university, by a retirement system in a China company. There's no reason they need to make that investment. They can make a return on investment, perform their fiduciary duty by investing in American companies or in other ways across the globe.
And you're doing all of this while leading the nation in job creation. Yeah. Over the last 12 months, the state has added 274,000 jobs, Governor, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Earlier this week, he released the Texas Advanced Nuclear Reactor Working Group's final report on Texas's plan to build a world-leading advanced nuclear power industry. Where are the jobs in Texas right now?
Maria, the jobs are everywhere. So as you kind of pointed out, Texas ranks number one for the most new jobs added of any state in the United States. And Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth is the number one real estate market in the United States of America. Houston may be the third best real estate market in the United States of America. We are expanding through semiconductors. Texas ranks number one for semiconductor production and exports for 10 years in a row. And we're adding expansions of that with Samsung, with Texas Instruments. And then you look at the financial sector. And I think you know that we've already announced the creation of the Texas Stock Exchange.
Yeah, you're going right at the New York Stock Exchange.
Exactly. And that we will be getting SEC approval this coming calendar year, begin trading later on this coming calendar year. And so every sector in the state of Texas is booming. And I tell you why. It's because we have the state move at the speed of business. That's what we did with Elon Musk when he wanted to come build his Tesla gigafactory in Texas. I said, we can build that in less than 18 months with vehicles rolling off of it. And because he liked it so much, he moved all of his businesses to be headquartered in the Lone Star State.
Great work. Governor, thank you.
Of course.
Good to see you. Governor Greg Abbott. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Keep on keeping on, dude. Keep on keeping on. Good stuff, man. What do you guys think? I don't know if I covered this already. Guys, if I covered this already, let me know. Let's do one more round on the I felt like I did this last night. Maybe I didn't. Let's bring Robert Guevara in here for another round. This is a quick one. Another round on the border stuff because I'm just all fired up about it. But before I do, let's go back to the chat and let's see here. Where did I do? Okay, a lot of great talk going on there. I think Texas is full, no entry. Oh no, Ellie, is that true? Texas is full. Texas is full. It's full. But you wouldn't want me to come there? All right. I want to go to a place where it's like where I grew up, like some, like just a time period from when I grew up. I want my kid to have a neighborhood and ride bikes and have friends that are, living down the street. My son wants to see the snow, but traveling to it might get y'all stranded. Texas is full. Okay. A lot of talk about states and stuff. Yeah, right. I mean, how can you miss Baltimore, really? I mean, what do you miss? I tell you what, this is the thing about Maryland, whether it be Baltimore or Annapolis or any places like that. Good crabs, good crabs. You get great crab meat in Maryland. Maryland has great crab meat. You can't beat it. It's actually really, really good. And they have great places to go eat crabs. You can, like crab houses galore. You go and you sit at the table. You got the newspaper. You got the paper, the whatever brown paper on the table. They bring out a big old tray of them. They're nice and red, steaming hot. They got Old Bay. They're covered in Old Bay. You get the melted butter, and you sit there and you just chow down on them all day long. Oh, they're so good. Blue crabs. There we go. Big old heart. Blue crabs of Maryland. The crab cakes are great. I mean, if you go to Maryland and you don't eat the blue crab, you're making a big mistake. You're making a big mistake. That's what you need to do when you're there. It's great. That Mike's Crab House. Yes, indeed. Mike's. I've been to Mike's. Mike's Restaurant and Crab House. Mm-hmm. Yep. You can sit around the water, crack those babies open. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Sit there all day long and have a good old time, man. I'm telling you what. Yeah, I don't know that I played this yet. Let's just run through it anyways. And if I figure it out along the way, I'll stop.
Into the domestic confines of the United States is
we talked about this last night. I don't think we brought this up. We're talking about how to use the deportation plan, how to use the national emergency. We got some different people in the crowd here tonight too that may want to add to this. But like, what's the plan? Like National Guard, U.S. military, like how do you go about doing this mass deportation without having a sissy fit like old knockoff Woody Harrelson had last night?
Called for
as elected mayor, elected governor. Are you telling me that you don't want public safety threats out of your communities? That is your number one responsibility, to protect your community. So smarten up and work with us.
Trump confirms he means business. When he takes office, he says, "This is true," with 3 exclamation points, so you know he's serious. He's responding to Tom Fitton, who is with Justice Watch, and Trump said this: "Good news. Reports are incoming that the incoming President Trump administration is prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through mass deportation programs." And Trump is confirming that's going to be happening. Now, as you can expect, right on cue, many people are saying they're going to oppose this and fight to stop non-citizens from leaving. Here is one person.
Why? I know. Again, who are these people?
spokesperson in Massachusetts. Her name is Governor Maura Healey. Her and others are going to get a dose of reality when they meet Tom Homan, because Tom Homan is this fella who says, well, they better pay attention, all right? Because when we come in, we're not playing around, and said the following: they don't want to cross that line, okay? So
Buddies is awesome,
says that
too.
elected officials in Massachusetts and elsewhere are reacting to Trump's claims and threats to deport hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants or illegals out of the country. Trump campaigned on a promise of the largest mass deportation in U.S. history, says he intends to deliver on it. Now, Maura Healey, who declared a state of emergency after migrants came to her state, says something needs to be done, but she expressed concerns about communities being uprooted. Says, I think it's absolutely appropriate that there be enforcement and deportation of individuals who commit crime. That's very important. We recognize it would be devastating if there were mass raids here and across the country that took out people that have been working in this country, families and kids. That's where they are.
Yeah, but you're ignoring the fact that these people are straining our system, right? And they're getting all this free money from us. And we didn't sign up for this. Nobody here signed up to give our money, our taxpayer money, away to people from other countries. That's globalism, right? None of us here voted for that. None of us here signed for that. None of us here think it's a good idea, and we can't afford to do it. You know, Cloward and Piven strategy. I did a stream on it, defining it, going down to the root of it, going into the history of it, talking about how it's been optimized for political gain as well. You know, it's always been a political strategy, but now how it's been optimized for votes as well, right? So break the welfare system, try to collapse it into a universal income, right? That was the two Democrats' plans that came up with it, Cloward and Piven, right? They're married, by the way. Or they were. I mean, it's one of them's dead now. But yeah, and then like how they've enhanced it. They've made it even more weaponized, and this whole, and it's become a global strategy even more so, right? Crash the border, erase the culture, break the welfare system, thus breaking the economy, right? And forcing it into a more Marxist, communist structure, right? With universal basic income and all kinds of other stuff. And then at the same time, you're overwriting Americanism. You're creating a voter base based on the fact that you're giving these people money, so much more money than they've ever seen when they first get here, right? And then when you stab them in the back, you'll already have everybody under control, and you'll have broken any kind of force that could, possibly stand up to it, right?
They always go. Now, while Massachusetts is not a sanctuary state, it does have 8 sanctuary cities. Boston's mayor, Michelle Wu, called the attention to the Trust Act passed in 2014, saying, we know that the fear of someone who might be coming from an immigrant family, not them reporting crimes or not speaking out, actually makes the community less safe. Cambridge is also a sanctuary city. And so they're gearing up to oppose Trump's efforts. This was another story from NBC News saying that Democratic governors vow to protect their states from Trump and his policies. And there's a growing list of blue state governors, including several 2028 people who are already planning legislative sessions and legal actions and other moves, and they're going to come out and fight Trump. Well, we'll see how that works out for him. ABC saying the same. The border czar is going to go to Mar-a-Lago to discuss the plan. That's Tom Homan. Now, he's tapped several hardliners to serve in these positions. Kristi Noem, she means business, was picked to be Homeland Security Secretary, pending Senate confirmation, and Tom Homan, the border czar, and he was out hitting the media saying, listen, we're not playing around. We come in office, all right? So just get ready for it. We saw these exchanges of governors who were saying that they are going to obstruct and insurrect the new administration. Here's what this sounded like.
Wasted no time pushing back. Watch.
I will not tolerate actions
Katie
that harm
Hobbs
Arizonans,
from Arizona.
that harm our communities, and quite honestly, divert resources from providing real security at our border.
The idea of calling out, the army into the domestic confines of the United States seems uncalled for.
This morning, President-elect Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, is joining us right now.
What's up, Tom?
So, brother, let's break down this because, you see all these media experts saying that Abuela is going to be deported. I think you have two priorities, right? First, you got to get the criminal element, which everyone agrees with. And then number two, you go straight for those 8 million people that have been coming across the border under Joe Biden, right?
Yeah, we got 3 rails of business, Lawrence. First of all, we got to secure the border. We know how to do that. We've done it before. Second of all, we need to run this deportation operations. The president's been clear. Out of the gate, we're going to focus on public safety threats and national security threats first. And fugitives, those who cross the border legally, had great due process at great taxpayer expense, were ordered removed by an immigration judge and didn't leave. They're also a priority. And third rail, we got to find over 300,000 children that were released in this country to so-called sponsors that the government can't find. We also got to find the children.
Waved in.
So real quick, Tom, do you deputize the local, like state police, like Texas DPS wants to work with? They want to work with the Border Patrol. Do they get deputized to help out with this crisis?
Yeah, we're going to fight with 287 GJ jail program, 287G task force programs, those law enforcement agencies. I want to help. Since I've been announced Lawrence Week, I've gotten thousands of soldiers that just recently left the military. They want to join forces. Police officers that retired want to join forces. But retired border patrol agents, retired ICE agents that want to come back. Retirements from Border Patrol, that paperwork is pulled back. There's a lot of excitement to do this job for the President of the United States.
Yeah. Tom, I want to get your reaction to this story. Apparently, the roommate of the illegal immigrant accused of murdering Laken Riley testified yesterday that they took the humanitarian flight from New York City to Georgia before they killed Laken Riley. What's your reaction to that?
To murder our citizens.
Look, he should have been arrested by ICE in New York City, but they're sanctuary city. He should never be in a country under President Trump. He wouldn't have been here. He would have been waiting in Mexico under the Remain in Mexico program. But here's what I want. For all those mayors and governors who said they're going to push back on ICE to do this operation, I want you to listen to that tape of that young lady fighting for her life, fighting for her breath. She did not want to die, and she fought hard. Listen to it. Just don't say, okay, another one died. I want you to listen to the struggles, because that happens across this country almost every day by an illegal alien. So I want those sanctuary city people out there saying they're going to push back on ICE. Listen to that and tell me, I just said President Trump wants to take public safety threats off the street. That's a priority. As elected mayor, elected governor, are you telling me that you don't want public safety threats out of your communities? That is your number one responsibility, to protect the community. So smarten up and work with us.
Tom, real quickly, what happens to a mayor or local police department chief that is under Democratic leadership that obstructs ICE and your federal agents that are helping get these deportations? What happens to them?
You deport them too.
Well, first of all, if they don't want to help us get the hell out of the way, we're going to do it. If I got to send twice the amount of resources to that city, that's what we're going to do. If they would give us access to the jail, that would mean less agents in the community. For them pushing back and not letting us in the jail, it just means more agents are going to be in the community, so they're hurting themselves. Finally, I'll say this. They need to educate themselves. They need to review this. Title 8, United States Code, 1324, III. Read about that and don't cross that line, because it is a felony to harbor and conceal illegal alien from ICE. Read the statute. Don't cross that line.
Whoa, Tom Homan! You better obey
Slam
governors
dunk.
and mayors. Otherwise, you'll be investigated for felonious, illegal harboring and misconduct. That's exactly the guy that we
Please
need
go
in
to
charge
jail.
as the borders
Please
are.
put him
That's
all in
how
jail.
you get stuff done. If he can just talk every time he's on the cable news, I would guess we probably have several more deep self-deportations happening. Oh gosh, that guy's coming around. All right, we gotta go home. Here's another exchange of Tom.
Already declared a terror emergency. More than 1,950 terror suspects alone caught crossing under Biden. That's just a generation after 9/11.
The Biden administration hasn't done enough. If you look at the removal of criminal aliens, those illegal in the United States who've been convicted of a crime, those removals are down 74% from the Trump administration. So there hasn't been enough focus on criminal aliens, specifically these alien gangs like Tren Agua and MS-13. But President Trump has promised that public safety threats and national security threats are their priority right out of the gate. So we're going to be looking at Tren Agua. Their days of horror are coming to an end.
Talk to us about, we've seen numbers, 800,000 criminal illegal aliens crossing over the last 40 years through Biden. The National Guard already has been deployed under the Biden White House, but there's pushback against the Trump wanting to use military assets to deport illegal aliens. How does that work when you catch a criminal illegal alien to deportment? Can you walk us through how it works?
Well, first of all, DOD's helped several administrations to secure the border, Republican and Democrat. DOD will be used. We have an agreement from DOD. President has to make that decision, but we use DOD, then they'll be used to do non-enforcement duties, such as transportation, whether it's on ground or air, infrastructure building, intelligence. Things that would take a badge and gun and ICE officer that are doing these type of duties, takes them away from those duties, put them on the street, and let the military do those duties, because it doesn't require immigration authority. So there'll be a force multiplier to take more agents, put them on the streets where we need them. But look, we arrest a criminal alien, we take them into custody. They're put in detention, they're put in an ICE bed while we make arrangements to the home country. They got to send us travel documents, they got to accept them as a national of their country. It takes several days, up to 2 weeks. So we detain them, put them on the next airplane out, and send them out. We're hoping DOD will help us with air flights.
He's got a plan.
Number of planes
He's
ICE
got a
has
plan.
contracts with, so DOD can certainly help with air flights all across the globe.
Tom, talk to us about how no other country in the world has had its border abused by illegal aliens like the United States.
Absolutely not. We are in a world that I never thought we'd be in, Liz. Border Patrol has arrested, since Joe Biden's been in the White House, they have arrested people from 181 different countries.
The whole world.
That's almost every country in the world.
Yeah, the whole world.
And 46,000 Chinese nationals and males of military age. There's no way 46,000 Chinese did not leave China without the coordination and consent of the Chinese government. It just doesn't happen. So we got a lot of national security threats in this nation that we got to find. We got to get them out of here quickly.
Let's go. Tom Homan not playing around. So great updates from him. Meanwhile, we have our president who was at the G20 and would have been a good opportunity for him to try to talk to some other people about them sending 180 of their citizens, 180 countries, sending their people into our country without any consequence at all. He could have done something about it, but he didn't. And so he was walking back to his airplane, and here is this poor media journalist screaming from the top of her lungs, "Please, just talk to us, Mr. President."
Will you talk to us, sir? Advocate for the press, will you please talk to us? Mr. President, President Biden, please, we haven't heard from you all trip. Mr. President!
Poor lady, man. She's been having a tough one. She's trying so hard. I have a ton of empathy from her. She's working hard. She's like,
They're like,
they
you
put
better
me
get
on
him to say
15
something. You're
different
fired.
flights to get here. I had to sit next to somebody who took up 3 seats, and I was only in 1 seat. You know, she's like miserable. And they lost my luggage. I just need one answer, Mr. President. And he just leaves, just ignores her. Like, this lady, man, poor woman. I feel terrible for her. Hopefully, she's able to make her way home. She put in a good effort, but she's talking to Joe Biden. There's nothing there but good effort.
Donald Trump has confirmed He will
Right, there you
declare a
go.
national emergency
Hold on.
and use military for mass deportations. What does that mean?
This one
Likely
we
means he's
did.
going to invoke the Insurrection Act or something along those lines
All right.
and use the
Talked
National
about this
Guard to
last night.
deal with.
All right, cool. Enough of that. Thank you, Robert Gouveia, for your awesome content. All right. So yeah, what an attention whore. Send them back as expensive as keeping them here for even a month, if not. Man, you know what? Make their countries pay for it. Tariffs. Make the countries pay for it and let them come here. China, you need to get your people out of here. We're sending them back. We're sending them back. You know, and he's right. There's no way you got that many people out of China without the Chinese government being involved. That's a frustrated neurotic. Yep. Right? Maybe if she dressed like a little girl, he would have come over and sniffed her hair. Then she could have got she could have got a statement. That's what they got to watch. You're going to see reporters start dressing like little girls to get Biden to come talk to him. That's going to be the new trick. They're going to use them as bait. Have them like they'll have them like on a leash and they'll pull them back. Oh, Mr. President, please answer a question. Oh, I thought it was a little girl. Oh. Man, I can't wait till the creep days are over. We're out of the creep days, man. It's such a good thing. Hello. There we go. All right. Such a good thing. Let's see. Where should we go next? What time we got? All right. Real quick, I want to point something out. Two things about Make America Healthy Again. All right. Two things. First one is this. Let me go ahead and I'm just going to use this generic AP post here. All right. There's nothing in here, right? Okay, it's just basic. But I just want to talk about this real quick. And I'm going to make a quick plug for a documentary that was free, that people put out there for free, so you can learn something. You can learn just something, right? All right. That's the one I want right here. Yeah. All right. Again, over to the grounded news. Ground news. U.S. town plunge into debates. U.S. towns plunge into debates about fluoride in water. Thank God, right? This is the thing that's been needed to happen forever. And I just want to give you a good example of why this is a great site to use and why I enjoy bringing it to you, and why it should be sponsored by them. Is like, look right here. You can see who's covering this story. It's just basically right in the middle, right? You don't see a lot of what they would consider right sources or left sources covering this. All right, and so I find this very interesting that it's not a hotter topic, but I guess they have to go where they got to go, right? But top headlines from, right down the middle. A recent federal judge's decision requires U.S. regulators to consider fluoride risk of lowering children's IQs. It shouldn't be in there in the first place. Again, The Fluoride Deception, a great documentary. It's out there. I did it. Unveiling Reality. It was Old School Watch Party Sundays. Myself and Shelly did it. That part is on YouTube. All right. We did have to get over. We did go over to Rumble for the second part, which was the Seeds of Death, right? Which has to do with GMOs and so on. But the first half is on YouTube. It's an older one. It's one we did a while back. The Fluoride Deception. You need to see this documentary if you don't understand the fluoride issue. It gives you the history of where it came from, how it got into our water in the first place. And in order to understand what it is and why it's bad for us and how it's not really helping our teeth, all right? And of course, nobody ever mentions that forced medication is unconstitutional. You can't just force medication on people, right? If they say it's for your teeth, well, then you're forcing medication for our teeth on us. It's still unconstitutional. You can't do it. Nobody voted for it. Nobody said yes, right? What they did was they manufactured consent for it so no one would object when they did it. And that had to do with Edward Bernays and the lead industry. Isn't that great to know that the lead industry helped put this fake fluoride in the water? It's just chemical runoff, right? And they're selling it to us like it's good for us. We're basically just filtering out shit they don't want to throw away. Communities in states like Florida, Texas, and others are debating fluoride in drinking water. There's no debate. Get it out. Right? And some stopping its addition. Yeah, you should stop it if you have a soul. In Arkansas, legislators filed a bill to repeal a state's fluoride program amidst ongoing opposition. Yeah, and guess who's going to push back against this? The brainwashed and the people that are profiting from it. That's the only people that's going to push back from it. Let's take a look at this AP little AP thing here. All right. New York. In New York, these are people that are, I guess, talking about it. Lively group. All right. For about 50 years. Okay, this is bullshit. It's coming off AP. I'm just going to go ahead and debunk them as we go. Adding cavity preventing fluoride. Bullshit. It's hydrofluoric acid. It's not fluoride. It's not sodium. It's not calcium fluoride like your freaking dentist would give to you. To drinking water was, and they don't give that fluoride to kids, by the way, in dentist's office, by the way. So wonder why. The drinking water was a popular public health measure in Yorktown. Popular. Who made it popular? Why is it popular? Oh, well, it's such a popular thing. It makes the water taste like shit. And it's bad for you. Leafy town north of New York City. Leafy town. That's stupid. But in September, the town supervisor used his emergency powers to stop the practice. Yes. That guy deserves a freaking medal. He just saved lives. The recent federal judge's decision ordered U.S. regulators to consider the risk that fluoride in water could cause lowering IQs. Just lowering IQs, right? The fact that you're drinking chemical waste, and have it sold to you as good dental hygiene is freaking an abomination. It's too dangerous to look at and just say, screw it. We'll just keep going. Yeah, 50 years. This isn't like it's new, right? There have been people for decades fighting fluoride in water. And people are like, well, I don't see nothing wrong with it. You don't see nothing wrong with the government dumping chemical waste in the water and telling you it's good for your teeth. Why doesn't everybody walk around perfect teeth? Good night, Scott. Have a good one. Thank you, man. Look forward to seeing you again. Take care, my brother. All right. Communities in Florida, Texas, Oregon, Utah, Wyoming, and elsewhere have debated the idea in recent months. The total number is in the dozens. It should be in the thousands, with several deciding to stop adding it to drinking water. God bless them. According to the Fluoride Action Network, an advocacy organization against water fluoride. God bless them. And Arkansas legislators this week filed a bill to repeal the state's fluoridation program, and it should. The debates have ignited. Good. In August, a federal agency reported with moderate confidence that there is a link between high levels of fluoride exposure, more than twice the recommended. No one's talking about the fact. It's forced medication. Precedent. Right? What are they going to dump? That's like saying, look. What if they start dumping Lipitor in the water, right? Go on. Well, everybody's got a cholesterol problem. We're going to start dumping Lipitor, statins. We're going to start putting statins in the water just for your own health. Meanwhile, it's eating your brain alive, right? It's eating your brain. It's eating your brain's made of cholesterol. It's eating your brain, right? But here we go. We're going to dump it in the water. What else is going to be next? We'll dump some vaccines in the water. We'll dump some other bullshit in the water. You can't force medicate people where people have a wide range of reactions to things, and you can't account for all of them when you use some kind of public utility. I'm going to pump some lithium into the air for everybody. That's good for you. I mean, I don't know. What else are they going to force medicate that you're willing to tolerate? Right? But you'll tolerate them dumping chemical waste in your water and thinking it's good for your teeth. So stupid. Even the dentists, like back in the day when they pushed this through, they manufactured the consent for it. They were all paid off. That said that they had any kind of help whatsoever, right? And that'd be a good idea. And then people were just like, they had 3 news outlets and everybody just had their blinders on, and they just ignored it. And Edward Bernays helped push it through by getting these dentists to sign on. Again, the fluoride deception. Hopefully, the link's been out there in the chat at this point. But the fluoride deception, you got to see it. You don't have to watch it with me. Just go watch it. Go look it up. Go to topdocumentaries.com or something. Go to anywhere, but watch the fluoride deception. I have a stream. You can watch it with me. You can hear my passionate talk about it all throughout. I get very enraged over this issue. This and food, water and food. I'm on fire about this stuff, man. I can't wait for this to be taken care of. In September, the federal judge ordered U.S. environmental protection agencies to further regulate fluoride and further regulate it. Fucking get it out. Impose a risk to the intellectual development of children. That's not the only thing it does. That's not the only thing it does. But I'll take it. Whatever it takes to get people to stop doing it, I'll take it. This month, just days before the election, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. declared that Donald Trump would push to remove fluoride from drinking water, remove it as president on his first day. Bless him, freaking saint. Trump later picked Kennedy to run the Department of Health and Human Services. Awesome choice. In Durango, California, there was an unsuccessful attempt to stop fluoridated water. It's Colorado. During Trump's first term in office. A new push came this year as Trump saw a surge of political support. Well, man, people just need to put the weed down and just like come back to reality and realize that, if you want to be healthy and crunchy, with your granola, you need to make sure you don't drink poison water. It's just kind of the ebb and flow of politics and national. Okay, whatever. So that's the thing about that, right? That's the thing about that. That's good news. And I will rage against the machine on fluoride every day of the week if you let me. I will beat the drum to get fluoride out of the water. I've been doing it for so long now. I can't believe it's still actually a thing. I really can't. But speaking of which, we need to be louder about it. And sometimes that means, hold on. Okay, good. Nowhere to go. Sometimes that means doing peer reviews against our own side about this, right? Calling things out. And nobody is better at doing that. The peer review. In fact, I got the term from this gentleman right here. I'm getting ready to bring up. Then good old OG Mark Dice. Mark Dice is the best about it. And he will right now rain a little peer review down on some of our people on our side about how they'll go out of their way to talk about certain issues, but they won't go to the root cause issues. And we need to start actually just calling it out and not be scared of what the establishment may do or their little woke army of idiots, right? We got to stop worrying about what they think, what they're going to say, and we just have to go for it. And it comes from the big voices are the ones that need to actually do it.
Things are getting very interesting on Capitol Hill, and it's still going to be 2 months until Donald Trump reassumes leadership when things are really going to go wild. But this week, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace from South Carolina introduced a resolution that would ban people from using bathrooms in the Capitol that don't correspond with their biological birth. And the left and the media are freaking out about this because there was just a transgender congresswoman elected in Delaware, the first ever, and they're going to get sworn in early January. And so then that would, complicate situations for that person. This person, whose birth name you're not allowed to mention on the big tech platforms because that's considered to be dead naming. That's hateful. Even when it's a member of Congress, you're not allowed to talk about history. Who now goes by Sarah McBride.
Hey everyone, I seemed to blow up the radical left last night. I filed a resolution that would ban biological men from women's private spaces on the Hill. I'm just getting started. And I've already nowhere near stopping, and the death threats that I'm receiving now aren't going to stop me either. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Come at me, bro, or bros in this case. I'm not going to take your threats for an answer. And I'm going to fight like hell for women and girls to keep men out of women's private spaces, to include bathrooms, restrooms, locker rooms, changing rooms, you name it. You are not welcome.
Wow. The Overton window has definitely moved. You would never hear anything close to this kind of rhetoric coming from any Republican in office. Very few even mainstream conservative talk show hosts would even sound like this up until just a few years ago. Here's Congresswoman Mace adding a little addition to the signage outside of the bathrooms there in D.C. And in response to this, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson made what he thought was a very bold and brave statement, only to then start wavering at the end. And I would give it about a 98%, 99% chance that he will cave on this.
Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts.
The facts are, sir, that you're going to cave on this, and you're going to most likely cave on allowing transgender women to compete against real women, actual women, biological women in high school and college sports, and the whole rest of it. The transgender bathroom issue is a Pandora's box that was opened years ago that the Republicans in Congress don't want to deal with and keep kicking the can down the road because they know that when it comes down to a vote, when it comes down to actually making a decision and going on the record and putting a law into place, they're going to cave. They're going to side with the left. In fact, the Supreme Court has declined to hear several such cases because they don't even want to rule on it. Of course, if it was a liberal majority in the Supreme Court, they would rule on it. They would make it law so that you have to accept wherever these people want to go. But even the Republican majority Supreme Court repeatedly denies even addressing these kinds of cases. But if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets approved by the Senate to be the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, which I don't know if that's going to actually happen. Donald Trump nominated him to be the head of that position. It'd be fantastic if he is. If he gets approved, then maybe finally people will start to talk about things like atrazine and BPA, bisphenol A, endocrine disruptors, and some of the
This is what I'm talking about right here.
chemical causes of all of these, how shall we say, interesting, strange phenomena that we are seeing in our society. When he was running for president over the last year or two, he mentioned it on various podcasts, but it's still not something that you ever hear talked about by any conservative Inc. radio talk show host. Here he is talking to Jordan Peterson, who's seen as a brilliant genius about it, and it just went right over his head.
I think a lot of the problems we see in kids, and particularly boys, it's probably underappreciated that how much of that is coming from chemical exposures, including a lot of the sexual dysphoria that we're seeing. That these kids are being overwhelmed by a tsunami. I mean, they're swimming through a soup of toxic chemicals today, and many of those are endocrine disruptors. There's atrazine throughout our water supply. Atrazine, by the way.
Oh, we know this is old news to us, but still hasn't sunk into any of the hosts over at the Daily Wire or anybody over on Fox News or Newsmax or really any members of Congress, Republicans at all. Here he is on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about the same thing, trying to alert the American people and the world about what it is that's going on.
Probably the most disturbing endocrine disruptor, and this is something we should all be looking at, is atrazine.
Yeah.
Because atrazine.
Okay, we know Alex Jones warned us about this like 15 or 20 years ago. Scientists even know the specific region of the brain that affects gender identity and sexual orientation. It is the INAH3 region of the brain, the third interstitial nucleus of the anterior hypothalamus, which they've found in rats and experiments in other animals. They can actually change the gender identity and sexual orientation
We have to
of
run
the animals
at it.
by influencing the chemicals that the fetuses are exposed to when they're in the womb. There's an in-depth discussion about this in Dr. Deberso's book, The End of Gender, which covers all the scientific studies, all the effects, all the literature, which makes you wonder, why isn't anybody at the Daily Wire, particularly Matt Walsh, who I do have a lot of respect for, but he is, America's #1 transphobe, according to the left. Why is it that he never ever talks about endocrine disruptors, BPA, or atrazine. Never once in his film, What is a Woman? He's never even tweeted about atrazine, not a single time in his entire life. You can do deep dive searches in people's tweets. 0 results for atrazine, Matt. 0 results for BPA. 0 results for endocrine disruptors. Yeah, your film, What is a Woman, was great, Matt, but what if it's not just a social contagion? What if there's more to the story? What if there's an underlying cause
Right.
that's at work here? Like,
it makes you wonder if he knows that or if he's actively avoiding it. I don't know. Because everybody's awakening level and everybody's understanding level of different topics isn't the same, right? So I can't assume that he knows this, but I mean, how do you put out a whole documentary about the topic and not have it come up one time? Weird. Having him never tweet about it, has he never seen anything about it? Does he not think it's important? These are questions that need to be asked to people like that, who are big proponents, are big advocates to expose what's going on, right? Do you know about this stuff? Have you heard of this? Do you need to like some more information to help you on your journey here to combat this problem? That's what I thought this was a great piece by Mark. It's because it points out some truths. Like these people, he doesn't mention that stuff, right? And we just watched Am I Racist, right? But did he dive into the root cause issues of that enough? Like the indoctrination process of critical theory, critical race theory, and cultural Marxism. Did it go to the root enough? I mean, do we need to? Is this a way? Is that deeper? Should we go that deep on everything? Maybe that's half my problem, is I go too deep on everything. But it's like there is awareness, research, consideration, and decision, right? And so maybe he's just, I'm flat out awareness content, but how do you walk to the next stage? How do you walk to deeper research from what you put out? I don't know. These are the things that go through my head when I listen to stuff like this. I'm like, well, why doesn't he? Why doesn't he? Does he just not know about it? Or is it that he's keeping his content intentionally light to then encourage people to walk down that road to kind of figure out the root cause issues on their own? Most people won't. I mean, that's why you have to feed them the content to get them to understand what the next step is to take, gain the interest in it. I try to encourage people to do that work, to do that, to understand that you always have to keep going down and learning more and researching and vetting your ideas and vetting your sources, because that will eventually lead you to the information anyways. So I don't know.
The chemical exposure and the endocrine disruptors and the INAH3 region of the brain. If transgender men are born with the INAH3 region of the brain of a woman, and brain scans show that region of the brain is different in transgender people and gay people, by the way, because that part of the brain regulates sexual orientation as well, then just simply not using their preferred pronouns and denying how they feel isn't going to stop this. But if you start going down that road, then the left will call you a eugenicist, just like the Nazis. So Conservative Inc. has to play it safe and just claim that it's just a social phenomenon from people watching too many TikTok videos. I guess it just takes a guy with a laptop and a YouTube channel to start paving that path for the brand name Conservative Inc. hosts, so that finally, maybe someday, they can feel that it's safe to finally talk about the things that is really old news to us OGs. And if you notice,
that's the truth. That is the truth, man. Like, you notice people like Mark, myself, Gary Franchi, and others, we're all the OGs, man. And like a lot of people that are in the limelight today are new school. Benny Johnson included. Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Tucker, for the most, he's been around a while, but he just kind of came around, right? He still has a ton of shit to learn. And there's still a lot of people that are up on the upper echelons of attention and views and reach, right? That haven't had a lot of experience and haven't been doing it for that long. And so they kind of shoot to the top and they dance around the hot issues and they understand how to generate attention in this attention economy. And then the old schoolers like us are just shoveling out the deep research truth about things and the experience of going through a decade or more. There's a time when a lot of us just were on our own. I mean, it's just like, there wasn't a big crowd of people that would come around and that were at least sane, like you guys, that would come around to be part of the solution. There was a lot of trolls. There was a lot of people who just wanted to believe every whacked conspiracy theory out there, anything that generated fear and they were into, but not, but getting down to these root cause issues and these root things and calling them out the way for what they are. Like I say, we need to call out more things as cultural Marxism, as critical theory, as the sources, so we can cut them off. Don't let little things fly. And the same with the water and what causes these conditions that we've seen arise in. And I think we're getting there. But anyways, I get what you're saying. I think it's a good peer review. I like, sometimes that's what the other side doesn't do. They don't keep themselves in check. We need to keep ourselves in check. All right. So one of these things, we got some breaking news here. We're not really breaking news, but something sent in. I will definitely talk about this right here. Since we're talking about health and making America healthy again, let's take a look at the study by Berkeley that was put in by Ellie. And I do listen to the crowd. Remember, if you're here, you're part of the solution. And I'll take a look at what Thomas sent as we were looking at this here too. I love thinking of fluoride, but like I said, the fluoride deception describes all the history of it and things like that. But I'll take a look at what Thomas said as well next. We'll get some crowd interaction in here. All right, let me see. I probably need to take that view and go down here. All right, so first study to measure toxic metals in tampons shows arsenic and lead. Oh, good. Oh, good. This is good for you, right? Is that right? Is this that has vitamins and minerals? All right, tampons from several brands that potentially millions of people, I'm going to say women, billions of women use each month can contain toxic metal like lead, arsenic, and cadmium. I think I said that right. Cadmium. Yeah, cadmium. A new study led by a UC Berkeley researcher has found tampons are of particular concern as a potential source of exposure to chemicals, including metals, because the skin of the vagina has a higher potential for chemical absorption than skin elsewhere on the body. In addition, when these boys, these Tim Walls boys, when they use these tampons, are they to stick them in their ass or something? In addition, the products are used by a large percentage of the population on a monthly basis. Go figure. 50 to 80% of those who menstruate use tampons for several hours at a time. Despite the large potential for public health concerns, very little research has been done to measure chemicals in tampons. So, really? A lead author, you think they would do that? I mean, nah, just stick it in there. You'll be fine. Shearston, a postdoctoral scholar at UC Berkeley of Public Health and UC Berkeley's Department of Environmental Science, Policy and Management, to our knowledge, this is the first paper to measure metals in tampons. Wow, about time. A good thing you guys dumped a bunch of bullshit in the water 50 years ago. Concerningly, we found concentrations of all metals we tested for. Good. At least your test was not in vain, including toxic metals like arsenic and lead. Well, again, there's like vitamins and minerals. Metals have been found to increase the risk of dementia, infertility, diabetes, and cancer. They can damage the liver, kidneys, and brain, as well as the cardiovascular nervous system and endocrine system. In addition, metals can harm maternal health and fetal development. Although toxic metals are ubiquitous and we are exposed to low levels at any given time, our study clearly shows that metals are also present in menstrual products and that women might be at a risk for exposure using these products, said study co-author Schilling, assistant professor at Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health. That's weird. Researchers evaluate levels of 16 metals: arsenic, barium, calcium, cadmium, cobalt, chromium, copper, iron, magnesium, mercury, nickel, lead, selenium, strontium, vanadium, I haven't even heard of that one. And zinc. Only 30 tampons from 14 different brands. The metal concentrations vary. Where were the tampons purchased? U.S. and the U.K. and EU, UK. Organic and non-organic. What? And store versus name brand. However, they found that metals were present in all types of tampons. No category has consistently lower concentration. What in the world are they making these things out of? Lead concentrations were higher in non-organic tampons. Well, at least if you're using the organic ones. But arsenic was higher in the organic ones. Oh my God, there's just no winning. I don't know what you're gonna do about that. Bleed free, man. Metals could make their way into tampons under a number of ways. Cotton material could have absorbed the metal from water, air, soil, and nearby contaminants. For example, if the cotton field was near a lead smelter, oh, good to put this together, or might be added intentionally by some manufacturers as part of pigment whitener, antibacterial agent, antibacterial yet deadly. Or some other process in the factory product producing the products. I really hope that manufacturers are required to test the products for metals, especially for toxic metals. Yeah, especially for this. It would be exciting to see the public call for this, or to ask for better labeling on tampons or other menstrual products. For the moment, it's unclear if the metals detected by this study are contributing to any negative health effects. We think future research will test how much of these metals can leach out of tampons and be absorbed by the body, as well as measuring the presence of other chemicals in tampons. Well, there you have it. So keep that in mind next time you menstruate, and we'll keep an eye on it. Let me see here. All right, here's the one. Let's see. This is weird. This is kind of stuff you watch, Thomas. That's interesting. I watched it. I watched it. I learned something about Thomas by watching that video. Manufacturers don't care. I know. Terrible, terrible people. But now we got good people in charge, so I hope we hold them accountable. We will hold their feet to the fire wherever they may be. We shall fight on the sea, in the air. Okay. So now we got to talk about, and you said that Putin actually did fire a missile. Let me go back to my grounded news page for a second, because he was on the front page for a while, and then he got pushed back. Hamas conflict, Israel conflict, Ukraine. Where's the Ukraine stuff? All right, I'm gonna open with a piece about Biden's World War III. I'm gonna wrap it up with this tonight, but I need to look for the stuff about the Ukraine launch while I'm doing this. Jesse Smollett, get out of here. I can't. Okay. Russia fire. Okay, here we go. That's it. Okay, I found it. Let me go ahead and start us off with this introduction here by Gary Franchi, and then we will go into a update on this as well. Is Biden trying to start World War III as he runs off into the woods? Is that what that man's up to? Let's talk a lot about this. And let's bring in our good friend. Make sure I get this out of the way first so I can refer to it when we decide to jump off from here to there. That's bad. All right, let's bring in our good friend and most recent guest on the show, Gary Franchi. Gary, bring us into this important topic.
Tonight, we're tracking something truly dangerous. The Biden administration, in its final desperate moments, is quite literally trying to start World War III. Just days ago, they authorized Ukraine to use American long-range missiles against Russian territory. And Putin's response is stark warning about nuclear retaliation, but it gets worse. As Biden wanders aimlessly at the G20, unable to find his way to a group photo, his administration, well, we're finding out that there's undersea cables that had been cut, provoking North Korea, and seemingly doing everything possible to leave Trump with a world in flames. This is not just incompetence, folks. This looks like deliberate sabotage. And with global tensions at a breaking point, Chuck Norris has a message you need to hear. At 83, he's still ready for anything, just like we all need to be in this uncertain times. We are now learning that this is what it would look like. This is a simulation of a strike on Kiev with a 100 megaton nuclear bomb. The death toll would rise to about 2.5 million people. Our leaders are risking the lives of millions in Ukraine. Is it really going to be this way?
7.9.
Listen.
If the bomb was 100 megatons, it would have a wave of thermal radiation that would reach a radius of 64.2 kilometers. The air blast radius would reach up to 54.6 kilometers, followed by an electromagnetic wave of ionizing radiation that would reach up to 6.99 kilometers. The fireball would expand to a radius of 7.92 kilometers and would last for around 35.7 seconds. The total number of deaths by such a blast would amount to 2,412,050 people.
That is what is at stake here. But we have Joe Biden. This guy is completely lost.
It's no secret that I'm leaving office in January. I will leave my successor and my country in a strong foundation to build on if they choose to do so. It's true, some may seek to deny or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America. But nobody can reverse it. Nobody.
Yeah, he's going to leave a strong foundation? No, he's leaving a foundation
Right.
of chaos. Here's Biden wandering around after missing the group photo at the G20 summit in Brazil.
Nobody wanted to
totally
know. What?
Totally
Photo?
lost. Doesn't even know where he's at. Biden, who just authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied long-range missiles, takes no questions and retreats back into the Amazon rainforest. Look at this. No questions. Just wandering off into the rainforest. I mean, where is he going? Totally embarrassing. World leaders at the G20 took a group photo without Biden. Listen to the reaction from the reporters on the scene.
Where was he?
Where's Biden?
They're telling Biden. They're telling him to wait for Biden, guys.
Like, nah.
Oh my God.
That's okay.
You can go far left. Left to the left of the palm tree. Oh my God. Honey, look at Yep. He's right there. Nope, he's behind the palm tree right now.
Look at Biden. He's behind the palm tree.
This is the chaos that Joe Biden is leaving behind. Total embarrassment on the world stage.
Oh.
Reporters frantically looking for him on camera. G20 leaders vacating the photo because they're not going to wait for Joe Biden. Look at this.
Yeah. It's like we're not waiting
I mean, it's
for him to
chaos.
clean his pants again.
He's Joe.
He's going the wrong way.
Hey.
There he is now. Next go down. I know your dad in Cuba. What a wiener.
Reporters in disbelief. I can't believe it. He missed the photo. They left
Grabbed
without
some
him.
woman and started walking with her, and she's
This
like,
is the end of the presidency.
here.
This is the legacy of Joe Biden, and
where
you're
am I
witnessing
at?
it right there.
There's
Total
not an
embarrassment and
stand
humiliation
here.
on the world stage as he's escalating tensions around the world. What a joke this is. And we have this deep state financier, Alex Soros, openly celebrating the potential of U.S. long-range
Alex
weapons being fired
Soros.
into Russia. They're not hiding it anymore, openly pushing for World War III. Alex Soros, this is great news. And he's quote tweeting the Wall Street Journal that says, breaking, President Biden has for the first time authorized Ukrainian forces to use Western-made long-range weapons to strike inside Russia. This is great news. Alex Soros says this is great news. This is horrible news. 6 hours ago, Moscow warns the United States over allowing Ukraine to hit Russian soil with long-range weapons, the Washington Times. Meanwhile, fascist Russia cuts critical internet cable between Finland and Germany. That's according to the Telegraph. Critical undersea internet cable severed amid fears of Russian sabotage. Really? Was it the Russians or somebody else?
It's like the cleanest cut ever.
Jade Helm, Uncle Bozy, 8 hours ago. 2 undersea internet cables in the Baltic Sea have been suddenly disrupted, according to local telecommunications companies, amid fresh warnings of possible Russian interference with global undersea infrastructure. The communication cable between Lithuania and Sweden was cut. On Sunday morning, 10 a.m. local time, a spokesperson from telecommunications company Telia Lithuania has confirmed. Critical internet infrastructure severed in the midst of all of this. Undersea cable suddenly broke between Sweden and Lithuania, Germany, and between Lithuania and Sweden. Communication cable laid by the bottom of the Baltic Sea been cut. Accident has reduced internet access by a third.
Some James Bond shit
of
right
the
there.
location where the thing was cut. But here we have, this is Tucker Carlson weighing in on World War III.
Make of that? And if you doubt how serious the opposition is to the public, not just to Trump, but to the majority of the country that voted for Trump, they're trying to leave him with World War III on the way out. Yeah, I can't imagine a more desperate or evil thing for Tony Blinken, who I think is desperate and evil, in my view, to do. Leave him with a war? A lame duck president trying to start a war with the world's largest nuclear power, Russia. What do you make of that?
I think it's disgusting and cynical and evil is what it is. That's what I think. A fumble and a snub. Liberal hive mind.
I agree.
World leaders of the G20 take their group photo without Biden and then they walk away. Where's Biden? Everyone freaking out. Putin saying we will use nuclear weapons if a mass enemy missile or UAV is launched towards Russia.
Nuclear state. In the updated version of the document, aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as their joint attack on Russia. Russia will also consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state border. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery vehicles. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy using conventional weapons poses a critical threat.
It is important to note.
So, Vladimir Putin certainly issuing his own warning about what is going to happen. And then we have this. Kim Jong-un told North Korea's military to get ready for war and blaming the United States.
Now the North Koreans are
they said,
involved. Great.
Trump going to show up across the DMZ again and be like, cut that shit off, Kim. Well, let's see. Let's get a little deeper here. He told North Korea's military to get ready for war, blaming the U.S. and South Korea for pushing tensions on the Korean Peninsula, the worst phase in history. Speaking at a meeting of military commanders in Pyongyang, Kim accused Washington and its allies of threatening North Korea with military confrontations. He urges forces to step up their readiness as the situation becomes more dangerous. So this is all happening in real time.
Great.
Oh, President Biden, though. This is what he posted a day ago. I'm proud to be the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Amazon rainforest. We must recommit to protecting our planet. We must recommit to protecting our planet. What about nuclear winter, Joe? You're authorizing Ukrainian forces to use long-range U.S. weaponry into Russian territory. And you are more concerned about the Amazon rainforest than the rest of the planet?
That's where the ice cream comes from.
Are one of the most powerful solutions we have to fight climate change. Yeah, whatever, Joe. Whatever. ALX says, Americans, it would be great if we could have peace instead of these endless wars. Biden brings us closer to World War III. Alex Soros says it's great news. Here we have Putin in September. If Ukraine uses U.S. long-range missiles to strike Russia, the U.S. is at war with Russia. Biden in November authorizes Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike Russia. Biden has just 2 months left in office. This is an attempt to substitute concepts because we are not talking about authorizing or prohibiting the Kiev regime from striking territory. It already does with the help of drones and other means. But when we are talking about the use of Western-made long-range precision weapons, it is a completely different story. The fact is, I have already mentioned this, and any expert will confirm both in our country and in the West.
Right.
The Ukrainian army is not able to strike within modern long-range precision systems of Western manufacture. It cannot do this.
There we go.
This is possible only with the use of intelligence from satellites. Oh boy. Which Ukraine does not have. This data is only from the satellites of the European Union or the United States. In general, from NATO satellites is the first thing. The second and very important, maybe the key one, is that only NATO servicemen can make flight assignments to these missile systems. He's basically saying it's NATO. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this. He's basically saying that NATO's 100% behind this. So this is not about whether or not to allow the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons. It's a question of deciding whether or not NATO countries are directly involved in military conflicts. If this decision is made, it will mean nothing but direct participation of NATO countries and the United States. European countries in the war in Ukraine, this is their direct participation of this, of course, changes the very essence, the very nature of the conflict.
Yep.
It will mean that NATO countries, the United States and European countries, are at war with Russia. And if this is the case, then bearing in mind the change in the very nature of the conflict, we will make appropriate decisions based on the threats that will be posed to us. Wow. So Putin clearly recognizes that any long-range attacks that could be initiated by Ukraine would then
And there's
be within direct coordination of NATO.
Warhawk.
That's a very bad thing. Because, you know, Ukraine is a small country and Russia is a big country. And Russia invaded the little country. Remember when Kamala said that? Sorry, I don't mean to make light of this. John Bolton, however, he's a man, he's never disagreed with any war, says he approves of Biden's decision.
Well, it's the right decision. I'm just worried it's too little too late. This should have happened 2 years ago. And it's
we should have gone to war 2 years ago. We should have done this. We should have let them use long-range Western missiles and satellite data years ago.
Elon speaks.
Well, it's the right decision. I'm just worried it's too little too late. This should have happened 2 years ago. And it's emblematic of the sad reality that although the United States wasn't able to deter the Russian invasion, for this 2.5 years, Russia has largely deterred the United States and NATO from providing adequate assistance to Ukraine on a strategic basis.
Man, these hawks, man, I cannot wait for them to disappear.
Me too.
Joe Biden, BlackRock, this is from Wall Street Apes, is trying to start World War III by authorizing Ukraine using U.S. long-range missiles into Russia. New Attorney General Matt Gaetz says what everyone else is too afraid to say, the Ukraine war is to launder money.
I think that the reason we are as involved in Ukraine as we are is because Afghanistan wound down. And if we still had Afghanistan to launder money through, there probably wouldn't be the need for this type of excessive involvement in Ukraine. But I think we can look at Afghanistan and we can look at what's going on here and say what a lot of these defense contractors are pushing towards is how to have an extended kind of low yield war. Like if there's a way to stretch this thing out, turn it into a 20, 30 year kind of thing where there's a whole lot of money moving around and unaccountable pots and a lot of weapons getting bought. And then, oh man, the stockpiles, well, we got to spend more money to reload those. I think that
calling it a whole money laundering operation. We've been saying that forever.
Yep.
Oh, but there's more. There's so much more. President Trump calling for peace. This is what we need, friends.
Today, we have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission.
That's right.
Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family, and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting this sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I'm the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Do it.
It's happening, friends.
Let's go.
But of course, you know, Joe Biden signed an official proclamation to support the conservation of nature around the world because there's more we can and must do at home and abroad to protect our planet. But he's still funding countless wars.
He's outside.
But Putin says he's ready to use nuclear weapons if a non-nuclear nation attack Russia with the assistance of a nuclear nation.
Yep.
This is what's happening, folks. This is where we're at.
All right.
So we've got this too. We've got Alan West. He's weighing in too.
Made such a huge. Well, it's very perplexing because what you started out with saying a lame duck president, why would you make such a huge foreign policy and national security decision? Because basically you are bringing America into a proxy war with another country, with Russia, with enabling our weapons to be fired into their homeland. Now, I could understand if you would allow some of the staging bases that may be just right across the border or logistical support bases right across the border from Ukraine to be struck. But why would you wait and do this now when you have always been talking about major escalations? So you would think that this would have been something that Joe Biden would not have unilaterally done. He would be in concert and talking with the incoming administration. We do have an incoming national security advisor. He would have allowed him to be consulted about this. But the biggest way, if you want to defeat China, Russia, North Korea, is once again to kickstart our oil and natural gas and once again ship our liquefied natural gas over to these European countries to undermine the economy of Russia and prevent him from being able to prosecute this combat operation.
How much of an escalation is this all? What could this potentially blow up into? And I'm not using that word tritely, but this could explode into something much bigger than the current conflict, it strikes me.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that's one of the things we have to be concerned about, especially when this major type of decision being made by an outgoing administration. Without a doubt, Russia could now look at it and say that we're going to use our weapons as supply to other entities that may be fighting against the United States of America, being it the transnational narco-criminal terrorist organizations. China could do the exact same thing. So we have to be very careful about being drawn into a proxy battle when I don't think that we want to be in that footing, especially with an incoming administration that will have a completely different foreign policy pursuit. So if anything, I think that maybe what Joe Biden is trying to do is force the hand of the incoming Trump administration, but I don't think that you're going to be able to do that. President Trump will come in with his own foreign policy determinations, and I think that he will bring this this conflict to an end.
And that's exactly what we need. It all needs to come to an end.
Yep, exactly. Thank you so much, Gary, for that. And let's take a look though at one last thing here. Let's take a look at where did I put that? Is it over here? Under here? All right. So that was I got that on for yesterday. Or yeah, it was on for yesterday. And then but however, wait, I gotta pick one here. Let's go right. They put Russia Today under the right category. That's hilarious. Independent Sentinel, is that good? I keep trying different one, different low facility. What does that mean? Low facility, mixed facility. Is that high facility? Evening Standard? What's that? All right. Let me switch my mic up here. I'm about to read off this. All right, boom, check. All right. Hello? There we are. Okay. Let's do a window right here. All right. All right, so here we go. As of today, everything's running nice and slow for me, okay? Russia fires experimental ballistic missile at Ukraine, escalating conflict. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky described a Russian ballistic missile attack as a clear and severe escalation in the war, urging for worldwide condemnation. Russian President Vladimir Putin claims the new missile called the Orishnik travels at Mach 10 and can evade Western defenses. The missile strike on Dnipro marked its first use in conflict, occurring after the Ukraine strikes on southern Russia with U.S. and British missiles. So this is already starting to kick off. Here we go. Here, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatens to strike the UK, not Ukraine, UK, with a new ballistic missile after. Hold on. Let me just do that. Okay. After using the weapon to hit a target in Ukraine, Downing Street condemns Mr. Putin for further escalating the conflict by using a ballistic missile with a range of several thousand kilometers against the city of Dnipro. Mr. Putin suggests the missile could be used to hit Kiev's allies who have given Ukraine permission to use Western supplied weapons to hit targets within Russia. Yep, escalation. Here we go. The UK is believed to have allowed its Storm Shadow missile to be used by Ukrainian forces within the Kursk region of Russia, while the US has given permission for its ATACMS weapons to be fired at targets in Mr. Putin's country. Mr. Putin confirmed Russia has tested a new intermediate range weapon, saying it came in response to Ukrainian strikes on the Russian territory with the U.S. British missiles earlier this week. The Russian leader declared that Russia would issue advanced warnings before strikes on other countries to allow civilians to evacuate to safety. That's nice of him. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons on November 21st of this year, the Russian armed forces launched a combined strike on one of the facilities in the Ukraine defense industry, Mr. Putin said in a televised address. One of the newest Russian medium-range missile systems was tested in combat conditions, in this case with a ballistic missile and the non-nuclear hypersonic warhead. He added, "We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities." Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Nobody wins in a fight, right? And here we go. All right. So isn't that great? This is great stuff. The death throes of the corrupt establishment trying to create havoc and make it impossible for our new president, Donald Trump, to bring peace once again. And hopefully this is the last we'll have to hear this stuff. Now, Trump did promise to end the conflict before before Inauguration Day. So I'm waiting on that. We're all waiting on that, right? We're all waiting on that. And so I believe that he will keep his promise. And so I'm eagerly awaiting news of that promise to be kept. And Biden's not making it any easier. Hey, Slidey Pie, I see you over there on the Rumble side. How you doing, Slidey Pie? Good to see you. Crown says potential for Biden to set up a Kabul style event with Ukraine that Trump will have to deal with once in office. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's what they're doing. They're going to try to do everything to make it rough so they can capitalize on it. And they can run their stupid establishment brainwashing narratives as they always do. That's what's going to happen. We're going to be watching it. We'll watch it. That's just them rigging the system on the way out the door. we'll stay on top of it. I'll make sure that you guys know what's going on as best I can. And yeah, there you have it. What do you guys think, man? World War III? I think I try to do it. I mean, the way they drag us in with NATO and make us proxies, they use our weaponry just to, you know, to involve us in this stuff, our money going towards it. I mean, I'm surprised it already hadn't taken off, honestly, at this point. The fact that it's this much restraint has been used in terms of the amount of aid and the amount of antagonizing actions we've been a part of, we've been forced into by the corrupt establishment. The corrupt establishment does it against our will. We're not asking for this. But unfortunately, all of our brainwashed fellow citizens did help enable this. And by proxy, we are forced into consent in the system itself. But we're not consenting to the leadership that's doing it. They do. They've put us there. But we've changed that now. So we have to get through this end of this year. We got a couple months to go. We got what? Today's the 20th. Oh, today's 21st. January 20th. We got 2 months, less than 2 months to go. We can make it, guys. We can make it. We've made it this far. We're gonna make it. We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. 2 months to go. Yes, 2 months, just under 2 months, just barely under 2 months. We're gonna make it. And of course, day one is gonna be a phenomenal day one for our country. I can't wait. We're gonna do it. We're getting thumbs up from Lamb's Grace. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done. Hang in there, guys. We're gonna get there together. If you're here, you're part of the solution, and you are the most base informed crowd out there. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I will be back Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for Winning Saturday Night, where we do the good news of the week. Hopefully we have some good news this week to talk about, and cool things where we look at new technology and what the future is going to look like. We have a bright future in front of us, and funny videos. I'm sure we got plenty of those for you too. Yeah, it's going to be a long 2 months for certain. And even if so in case, unless something crazy happens between now and Saturday night, that's when you'll see me next time. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the Winner Circle members for supporting the channel. And by the way, I have many different tiers of memberships, gift memberships. There's a lot of gifted memberships get given out. But for those of you guys who actually do subscribe to the channel and are part of the Winner Circle, thank you so much. I mean, I have one that says, about a gallon of gas, right, a month. I think that's like a $3 one, right? It was the $3 one. There's a $5 one. There's a $10 one and a $15 one. I don't know what all the levels are anymore. It's been so long. But if you want to support the channel and become part of the Winner Circle, I certainly would appreciate it. I'd love to increase that monthly membership up. And just to say thank you again to all the people who are part of that. There's your name scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Thank you guys so much, each and every one of you, for being part of it. I do appreciate it. And for those of you who get gifted memberships, I hope you'll consider being a part of it as well. All right, so let's get on out of here. You guys have a great evening. Take care. Everybody stay based, be happy, stay warm, wherever you're at. All right, I'll see you Saturday night. Keep on winning.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
This is a friendship that